At Food Revolution Network, our mission is healthy, ethical, and sustainable food for everyone who eats. We want kids to learn about healthy food in school. We want doctors to learn how nutrition impacts health in medical school. We want the routine use of antibiotics banned from factory farms. We want a world where everyone, regardless of their ethnic or economic background, has knowledge of and access to healthy food for their family. We want a world in which heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, obesity, and diabetes are rare, and in which vibrant health is the status quo. We're spreading the word and standing for change. Join this movement and support this mission. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to day 3, the final day of our plant-based coaching workshop. Whether you've been here with us the whole way through or you're just joining now for the first time, I am so glad you are here. I'm Ocean Robbins, co-founder and CEO of Food Revolution Network. Honored to close out this journey with you with an epic day. I'm joined again by Tracy Garrigan, our plant-based coaching certificate program director, along with incredible faculty and alumni who are going to inspire you today. I guarantee it. And I have to say, if you've been here all 3 days, you know this has been powerful. If you're just joining us now, you're in for something special. If you're on Zoom, go ahead and drop in the chat what's one insight or moment from this workshop that has stayed with you. Even if you're just joining today, maybe share what brought you here. And if you're on the broadcast page, you can just go ahead and post in the comments and refresh the button provided there to see the most recent ones that have been submitted. Joy is saying greetings from South Carolina. Dan is saying greetings everyone from Walnut Grove, Minnesota. And she said yes, all 3 days. Again, go ahead and share what stayed with you. Christine said transformation. All right, any other thoughts? What has stayed with you so far? What has touched you, inspired you, moved you? What have you gotten out of this journey so far? Create space for real transformation, says Lisa. Greetings from Paris, says Patricia. Deborah said the valuable info shared. My one word is purpose. C. Daly said Dr. Howie, helping clients move forward with wonder. Yes, so many wonderful responses. Cows are the biggest ocean predators, said Lisa. Motivation, learning how to transition to a plant-based diet, inspired to learn. Greetings from New York City, eat healthy and vegan and also save sentient beings from a hellish life, said Holly. I found Brenda Davis's presentation very informative, says Joy. Hello from Germany, says Miriam. Authenticity, says Allison. You know, friends, we are part of a global movement of people who are fed up with the status quo, who are sick of being sick, who are tired of being tired, who are hungry for a change, and who are willing to be that change in their lives. Thank you for being here. Now, let me give you a quick update on some of what we've covered. So on day 1, we talked about purpose. We explored why this work matters. We heard from alumni who are living their calling. We explored our own sense of purpose and looked at head and heart and core and where it all sinks and how we can align around our sense of calling. In day 2, we talked about the inner work. We learned how to simplify nutrition science, how to meet clients where they are, and we saw how healing yourself and helping other people are one cyclical synergistic journey. Now today, day 3, is about success your way. How do you build a coaching practice that's grounded in purpose, that's aligned with your values, and that can help you to thrive? That's what we are here to explore. So today you're going to get practical, really practical. Sage Lavine, Tracy, and I are going to show some of our thoughts about the possibilities and the pitfalls of artificial intelligence. We're going to look at how to use AI ethically and wisely as a tool that supports human-centered coaching without replacing the heart of what we do, our authenticity. Coach Makini Duewa will show how group coaching can expand your impact and build communities that create change together. Melinda Cohen will teach you how to design coaching packages that align with your values and that feel authentic to you. You'll hear from another remarkable group of plant-based coaching certificate alumni who've defined success in their own ways, from coaching clients in clinics to launching private practices to leading change in their communities. You're also going to get to meet one of our dear friends and partners in this work, Coach Grace. And to close, Tracy and I, along with Grace, are going to answer your questions about the plant-based coaching certificate and help you get clarity on whether this path speaks to you. And if so, look at some next steps and how you can decide to enroll in the plant-based coaching certificate should you wish to do so. Now, here's the truth. Science is not one size fits all. There's no single right way to do this work, just like there's no single perfect way everybody should eat. You need to align with your values, honor your integrity, and reflect your unique calling. In many wisdom traditions, this is known as right livelihood. Work that nourishes you, work that serves others, and work that contributes to the greater good. Using your gifts and your skills, aligning that with your passions and your pleasures and your joys, and then what the world needs. In that convergence, there's an incredible potency. So that's what today is all about. Now, let me share something that might surprise you. 94% of Americans say they're open to eating more plant foods. 52%, more than half, actively want to eat more plant-based foods. But here's the catch. Most people don't know how to do it sustainably, how to nourish themselves properly, or how to make it enjoyable. Nearly half of all Americans make New Year's resolutions to eat more plant-based and fall short, or to eat better and fall short. That's about to happen again in the next couple of months here. At the same time, most people feel frustrated about their health, their weight, or their energy. Nearly a third of the food Americans eat leaves them feeling literally guilty. So change is needed, but we also know change is hard, especially alone, and that's the gap that we're here to fill. People don't just need information, they need guidance, they need support, and they need someone who can meet them where they are and help them bridge the gap between knowing and doing. Now, that someone could be you. Again, for those who don't know, we want to make sure you're knowing this is all grounded in our plant-based coaching certificate. We're sharing a lot of the key insights, takeaways, and principles of it throughout this workshop. And the program is built on a simple but powerful model for change, combining nutrition expertise, coaching skills, and impact strategies. And that is how we turn knowledge into action and intention into transformation. Because when it comes to reclaiming our health, folks, change isn't optional, it's essential. And the world needs more coaches, we believe, who are ready to help make that difference. The plant-based coaching certificate has these three pillars of nutrition, coaching, and impact, and we're weaving them throughout this workshop because we really believe these are critical and there's a synergy between them that can be profound. As you're going to see today, success can take many forms. Some coaches thrive one-on-one, others build powerful group programs, some become leaders in communities or clinics or companies. What unites them isn't a formula. It's the clarity, it's the tools, it's the courage to create impact in a way that's authentic to them. Everything you experience today reflects how PBCC empowers coaches not just with skills, but with vision, with confidence to define success on their own terms. Whether you're just beginning or you're ready to expand your impact, you're going to leave today with fresh insight and inspiration to guide your next steps. Now, of course, what we're sharing today is nutrition education and coaching insight. We're not sharing medical advice. So, of course, consult with a qualified healthcare professional for any medical guidance needs. Now, if you have questions as we go through the day, please post them in the Q&A box in Zoom. The chat is for engaging with fellow participants. It's not going to be something we're going to moderate for questions. We will have question and answer segments dotted through the day, and that's what the Q&A box is for. There's also a workbook that we've put together. In case you've missed it, we're sharing it throughout this workshop, and it can help you to follow along and capture your top takeaways. And the workshop, we call it the Plant-Based Coaching Workshop Workbook. And we'll post a link to that in the chat here and also on the broadcast page. You'll find in there that there are journaling prompts that are going to be especially powerful for today, day 3. So you can carry all the insights you're gleaning from these days forward into lasting action. There's research showing that when we write something down, it becomes a lot more potent. So just that's an invitation to you. Think about what you're learning and how you can write it down and capture it and integrate it into your life. So now, before we dive into today's sessions, I want to share one of the things that sets our methodology apart from a lot of other coaching programs out there. And here to do that is our founding director and program manager, Tracy Garrigan. Tracy, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Ocean. At PBCC, we're not just about the training, we're focused on making impact. As global leaders in this plant-based movement, we're bringing firsthand experience in transforming lives and guiding others towards healing. Our commitment goes beyond teaching, and we're dedicated to sharing our expertise through continuous mentorship to ensure your success. At PBCC, we also tackle a challenge many coaches face: how to balance being an effective coach with running a sustainable business. As Coach Melinda Cohen says, structure breeds freedom. It's one of my favorite lines. You'll get to meet her today. And that's why we equip our students with proven frameworks for both their coaching and their business. It is a win-win. Clients get clarity and results. Coaches are supported, grounded, and empowered. So whether you dream of launching your own business or finding a position in an existing organization or some combination of both, we'll help you clarify and explore the path that fits you and your goals and your interests. So we have a lot of great content to cover once again today. Thanks for being here, and I will pass it over to you now, Ocean.
Well, thank you, Tracy. So now we're going to talk about one of the most significant, I think, and controversial topics of our times. Let's talk about artificial intelligence, or AI. It seems like everywhere you look right now, people are talking about it, and the conversation is intense. Some people say AI will solve our biggest problems and create a utopia for humanity. Other people say it could threaten the survival of humanity itself. The truth is, AI is changing so fast that what we're about to share could shift in the next 6 months or even the next 6 days. But here's what we know right now and why it matters for you as a coach or even as a human being in these times. So I say the question isn't whether AI is coming, it's already here. The question is, how do we use it ethically, responsibly, and effectively, and respond to its prevalence responsibly, ethically, and effectively? So first of all, let me be honest with you. The risks are tremendous. AI can spread misinformation. It can amplify surveillance. It can concentrate power in the hands of a few. It's already being used for political manipulation and for military purposes. Without safeguards, it could radically deepen inequities. It could create massively accelerated gross domestic product, but create a few trillionaires and a whole lot of unemployed people. It has the potential to erode trust, to displace millions of workers. And there are environmental costs too. AI data centers consume massive that suggest AI could use a quarter of US energy within the next decade. Now, these concerns matter, and I personally believe that regulation, accountability, and safeguards integrated throughout every aspect of these systems are critical. I don't believe that technology itself is either inherently ethical or unethical. I think it's a tool, and it's what humans do with it that matters. So with all of these problems, we got tools, right? And just like television, just like smartphones, just like the internet, here's another tool coming along that's going to change the world faster than any of those technologies did, by the way, and probably more radically. But it's still a tool that will do good and bad, in my opinion. And we get to decide how we relate to the prevalence of that tool in our world. And now here's some of the positives. So AI has incredible potential. It can optimize energy use. It can reduce waste. It can eliminate animal testing and is already being used to do so. It can solve problems that benefit humanity in potentially profound ways. And here's what's, I think, significant to you. AI can also make you a better coach and a more effective entrepreneur. It can save you time. It can help you reach more people. It can free you up to focus on what only humans can do: deep relational work, transformation, bringing wisdom, love, humility.
Oh no. Ocean is frozen. Am I the only one that
Believe that as coaches, our job isn't to become AI experts necessarily. You can if you want to, maybe you already are, but most of us are not. But we do believe that our job is to stay human-centered and to use tools that amplify our impact, to make the biggest difference we can on behalf of life. AI can help us create content faster, organize our businesses more efficiently, reach more people with our message, spend less time on logistics and more time with clients. But it can't replace the heart of coaching. It can't hold space for someone's grief in a way that they feel gotten and held and loved. It can't feel into what a client really needs. It can't build the trust that makes transformation possible. That's your work. That will always be your work. So today, Sage, Tracy, and I are going to show you some tips on how to use AI as a tool ethically, wisely, and in service of deeper human connection. Not because we've got all the answers, but because we've been spending a lot of time looking at this and we want to share what we're learning. And we believe that coaches who understand how to work with AI rather than fear it or ignore it will be the ones who thrive in the years ahead.
Yeah. As coaches, having guided principles is going to be more and more important. We need to understand how to use this technology. So, the International Coaching Federation has come up with some principles for coaches that we thought would be a great start so that we can build on them. And so, we created a handout to share today called the Ethical Guidelines for Coaches Using AI. And we'll share that as a link in the chat. And we'll make sure we get that over to our comment stream as well for those who are watching there. And in case you want to download it, go ahead and follow along if you'd like. But we're just going to run through everything now quickly. So the first principle is transparency and honesty. We want to always disclose when AI is being used, whether it's writing, client support, or as a business tool. Clients should know when they're engaging with technology and what the role truly is. Informed consent. If you're using AI for note-taking, data summary, scheduling, let clients know and get their consent. State clearly that moving forward with you is going to involve some AI and make it clear where exactly that is. They should be also very clear on how their personal information may be used, handled, or stored. Privacy and data protection is going to increase in an area of importance. So you want to safeguard confidentiality just as you would in any coaching context, using secure platforms, limit data collection to what's essential, and stay compliant within privacy laws. We want to consider bias and fairness. Remember, AI can mirror the biases of its creators of training data. Choose your tools thoughtfully, be transparent about the limitations, and make fairness and inclusion and equity a part of your practice and have those eyes on it when you're reviewing work. Client safety, scope of practice. Also, AI can offer a lot of suggestions and insights, but it cannot assess emotional readiness or trauma. Remain clear about your role as a coach. You have a scope. You're not a therapist, and you need to provide referrals when and where they are appropriate. Accountability and oversight. Ultimately, you're not the technology, and it's you who is responsible for what you do, what you say, and how you impact your client. So you want to use tools that align with your values. Again, review and edit your work. Make sure it's coming from you because you do have to stand behind what you put out in the world. Having a sound knowledge of what credible resources truly are is going to matter a lot as things speed up. Non-deceptive presentation. Never present AI as being human or let automation blur the lines between authentic connection. Coaching is grounded in trust, and trust cannot be compromised. And finally, as a coach, your commitment to continuous learning is paramount. As you can see, this landscape is changing very quickly. It's staying curious is a cornerstone of coaching, but it's also the cornerstone of a good coach in life. Keeping, staying engaged in your learning and evolving your ethical understanding as things advance. So when we ground our use of AI in these principles, We're not just protecting our clients, we're modeling integrity and leadership in a field that desperately needs both.
Yes. Tracy, I'm seeing in the comments that I was frozen for a chunk while I was speaking earlier. How much of what I said was lost?
Actually, none of what you said, I think it caught up.
Okay, got it. All right, thank you. Good. I'm glad. All right. Sorry, folks. We're talking about technology. It's
I
such
know,
an
the
ironic
irony.
moment to have technology futs out on us. But isn't it amazing that we're like all people from all over the world and we're all gathering right now to have this conversation? I think this moment is an example of how technology can serve us, can serve our values and our lives and make it possible to do things we never could have dreamed of before. Yet we also see people walking around on the street or in the park, like glued to their smartphones, seemingly oblivious to the world. We see all the harm that can come from technology. The erosion of trust, I think, is one of the scariest things that's happening right now, where you literally don't know if something's real or not, if it's real or fake. And there's fake news and there's bots, and you don't even know when you're reading a comment if it came from a person or a bot. And you start to get emails from people and you're like, did my friend write this or did AI write this? And they just copied and pasted, or worse yet, had it on autopilot. And so as we go through that world, it becomes more and more important. Like, I think part of how we stand out in a crowded, oversaturated, and low trust world is authenticity, vulnerability, and humanity. That's what is going to get people to pay attention to you. AI, for all the brilliant things it can do, it can't actually feel what your client is feeling. It can say words of empathy that are brilliant and moving, but I think people can feel the difference between whether there's actually empathy or just empathic words. It can't sense the shift in someone's energy when they're about to have a breakthrough. It can't offer the gentle pause or the intuitive question or the nonverbal connection that says, I see you, I get you, you're not alone. AI can give advice, sometimes brilliant advice, but it can't hold space. It can detect patterns in data, but it can't know what it's really like to live in a specific body, in a specific culture, with a specific history of trauma or stress or resilience. It can suggest what to do very smartly, but it can't help someone discover why it matters, which is where I think real transformation begins. So here's some of the things that are going to make you irreplaceable, even in a world of hyper AI saturation. Your deep listening, the kind that makes someone feel truly heard, maybe for the first time in their lives. Your compassion, born not from algorithms, not from smart words, but from your own struggles, your own growth, your own imperfections. Your relational wisdom, knowing when to push, when to hold back, when to stay silent, when to speak truth. Your learning journey, your capacity to have new insights and discoveries in real time based on your lived experience. Your understanding of context, social determinants, cultural nuances, lived realities that shape someone's choices. Your ability to ask powerful questions born of all of this, born of relationship. These are deeply human capacities, and they're what make coaching transformative. Now, all that said, AI can be a very powerful tool in your hands. It can save you time, it can help you create content, it can help you organize your business, but it does not have the capacity to truly replace humanity. I believe the future of coaching belongs to those who combine the best of technology with the depth of authentic human connection. Those who use AI wisely as a support, not a substitute. Those who understand that humanity, wisdom, and love are not just nice extras, they are the essence of who we are and what makes this work matter. And that's what we're here to explore today, how to use AI ethically and effectively while being grounded in what only you can offer.
Yeah, AI does not have to take your place, but it can take things off your plate. Used wisely, it can give back hours every week, hours you can spend actually coaching, deepening relationships, creating that kind of transformation only humans can facilitate. And here's how. One, client care, make it more deep and personal. Imagine spending 30 minutes researching the latest science on gut health for a client or asking AI to summarize the key studies in 30 seconds. AI can help you quickly summarize research, identify insights, brainstorm personalized meal plans that fit a person's preference, budget, or goals. track patterns over time, spotting progress and plateaus that you might otherwise miss, generate ideas for creative ways to address a client's specific challenges. The result, you show up to sessions more prepared, more informed, and more focused on them. Ethical note, always review AI generated information for accuracy. It does make mistakes and you're responsible for them. So make sure you're reviewing your work and let clients know when and if you're using AI in their support. Content creation. You can amplify your voice in creating content that's essential to growing your practice. It's all of that can be time consuming for coaches. It can help you draft groundwork, outlines for group programs or workshops, social media posts that reflect your message, newsletter copy, blog articles, educational handouts, all of that. But here's the key. AI gives you the raw material, you add humanity. Always review. I'm going to keep saying that. Personalize. Your authentic voice, your perspective, your stories matter. It's like you're the curator. It's your it's your art. It's your art and love that you're bringing to your work. And also, it can help you with business support. It can be a behind the scenes assistant in terms of tasks that might be draining on a coach. Again, just brainstorming marketing language or organizing your schedules or deciding where you want to automate your own administrative tasks. You could draft forms to use in sessions or summaries. It's great to generate ideas for like program names and taglines or special offers. So just think of it as having this virtual assistant, or I think of it sometimes like a genie in a bottle who just works for you 24/7, freeing you up to focus on only what you can do. So big picture, when you integrate it thoughtfully, it does not replace you or your intuition or your empathy, but it can amplify them. It can give you more capacity, more energy, more time for what really matters, so you can bring your presence to your business and to your the people that you work with. You can also build something that's more sustainable, something that's aligned with your values. It can handle these logistics and you bring that wisdom and compassion. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to pass it back to you, Ocean.
Okay. Well, here's what I want you to remember here. Your edge as a coach isn't about having all the answers. It's not about being faster or producing more content. Your edge is your humanity. It's the presence you bring, empathy, the trust you build, the way you see someone fully and help them see themselves. And I want to say that having the right smart things to say is going to be less valuable from a marketplace standpoint than ever with AI. And even knowledge is going to be less and less valuable. But what I think was going to be more valuable, more precious, and more critical is humanity, vulnerability, love, all the inner work you do to be a better person, like all the ways that you build and earn trust and maintain trust through authenticity, even being a little quirky on the edges, like funny humor, your own vulnerability, your own stories, like all of that that makes you less polished and more gritty and more real. These are things that will actually become more critically important, I believe, in the coaching marketplace in the times to come. Um, if ethical coaches and health leaders don't step up and use AI tools wisely, we do risk leaving them in the hands of those who will use them unwisely. AI isn't good or bad, it's a tool, but I think it does matter to get informed about how we can use it effectively. So now we're going to talk about that a little bit. And in a moment, we're going to watch a conversation I had 2 weeks ago with Sage Lavine. Now, Sage is the founder and CEO of Women Rocking Business, which is a global training organization that's helped thousands of coaches and healers to build purpose-driven, heart-centered businesses. She is a best-selling author with Hay House and a master at helping coaches leverage their message with integrity and impact. She's leading her own training today, so she wasn't able to be with us in person, but we felt that her insights were so important, we didn't want to miss them. And we also have her teaching a module on AI for the forthcoming plant-based coaching certificate, where she'll go a lot deeper with the specific tools. So in the conversation that you're about to see, which we pre-recorded, you're going to hear practical examples of how to use AI ethically and effectively while doubling down on authentic human connection. Now, as you watch, I want to invite you to share your thoughts in the chat. What resonates? What concerns you? What possibilities are you starting to see? Tracy and I will continue this conversation right after. Let's watch. Hey, everybody. I'm here with Sage Lavine. We're pre-recording this a few days before our live workshop because Sage won't be able to be there in person live, but we're here now together in person and so excited to bring this into the plant-based coaching workshop. Sage, tell us, let's just jump right in here. What do coaches need to know about AI and how it is changing the coaching landscape?
Thank you for hosting this workshop, Ocean. Amazing. Just thank you for all of you for being interested in bringing plant-based solutions into the world. For any of you that know my story, you might know that I actually was able to heal from chronic respiratory infections through plant-based eating. And I'm just so grateful for all of you investing in the way that you are with your time here. Thank you. And in terms of AI, I know many of you might have mixed feelings about AI. I want to speak into the opportunity that AI has to automate things, take things off of our plates, help us move from being human doings into more human beings. Because with AI, you can automate so many things. You can create so much marketing copy, you can create funnels, you can edit videos, and you can, build a more efficient team. The hope is that we can actually lean into AI to put an even higher price tag on what we do best as humans, the relational piece, the true mentorship piece, the transformation that actually comes from humans holding space for each other's change. What all of you are embarking upon doing here is bold and brave, because when you go out into the world as a mentor, helping people make healthy choices with their eating habits and what they put into their bodies, it's hard for humans to change. We resist change. And so you all are going to be pulling upon the essence of who you are, your stories, your life experience, your commitment, the energy, the vibration of commitment to help people actually take those steps toward change. And even though AI can technically mentor us or coach us, we can ask AI to give us advice. I think we would all agree that the space that human beings hold for each other is absolutely unique and absolutely imperative. And I do believe that a higher price tag will be placed on true mentorship services that don't just include information, but include transformation.
Yeah, it's like the value of knowledge is going down, down, down. But the knowledge of wisdom is super there. And the value of transformation is really what we're talking about here. And that's what you as a coach can offer to people. So it sounds like you're really feeling like, even as, because people say they're getting coached by AI, they ask questions, they share problems, they get sometimes very interesting responses. But you're saying that there's something else that you think actually coaching is not going to die out, even as AI gets smarter. You think it's still going to fill maybe even a more important role in humanity.
Absolutely. I think we've got to look at what actually is a container of transformation and a container that actually creates change. And what we're testing with the women that we're working with, and we've tested this with thousands of women entrepreneurs. And what we see is working is creating actual communities of accountability, right? When we tell AI we're going to do something, I mean, you might be able to automate it to ping your phone the next day or the following week, but it's not nearly the same as somebody who's actually holding your intention in their heart, and I just want to invite us all into that. Like, you are the holder of your client's dreams, and we are firing on so many levels as human beings with hearts that pump blood through our systems, and our chakras all firing, and to whatever degree you believe in the physiology of the human presence, I just think there is an absolute truth in you having the opportunity now to build a program that meets the moment. So to be sure that you're not just putting information into your mentorship programs, because then you will be competing with AI, but to really build in accountability and feedback loops where your clients can actually report back to you, and there's something very real and human that happens if they don't follow through on their own commitments. Humans need each other to change. And I think it was you, Ocean, that really quoted in our mastermind, AI is artificial intelligence. It's not artificial body, mind, spirit, soul. And so that's, that the mind is so much richer than just, intelligence.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't have actual love. It may even say things that make us feel love in our hearts, but that's different than feeling loved. in that circle of loving connection that's really only possible with another living being that has a soul. At least that's my belief. And Sage, I want to say, like, you are a steward of dreams. You help women to live their dreams as entrepreneurs, to build businesses and make a living doing what they love and what they're passionate about, and giving their gifts. There's the old saying, the two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you discover why you were born. And in my experience, your life's work is helping people discover why they were born and then do it, live it, right? That's such a cool thing. And that's why I'm so excited that Sage is part of our plant-based coaching certificate and helping to mentor so many people in our community who really want to take that next step and have thriving businesses. And in that light, I want to ask you, because you're working on the front lines with so many entrepreneurs, how is AI helping people, let's say particularly coaches, to succeed more in their work and in their business? Like, what are some of the ways it's empowering them?
Absolutely. AI, of course, has the ability to be an incredible thought partner to you, to automate certain things in your business, to write incredible marketing copy, to help you edit videos really quickly so you can get more content out into the world to build a relationship with your future clients. One of the distinctions that we're making is that if you lean too heavily into AI to generate your content, you'll likely sound like so many other people out there. But our goal for you is that you actually choose, a specialty area within plant-based coaching so that you can really become a big fish in a small pond. And for you to be able to do that, again, AI is going to be a great brainstorming partner to help you solve those expensive problems for your future clients. But what AI can't do is to really dig into your storyline. Why are you the guide, not the hero, for your perfect clients? What are those stories that you tell? And then who are those different avatars that you serve, right? So I serve women entrepreneurs, but some of them really identify with being coaches and consultants. Some of them identify more with being healers and practitioners. Some of them just lost their jobs. Some of them are single moms. And so I've gotten to know my avatar through conversations, through explorations, and through really starting to fall in love with their journeys and their dreams, and to have so much compassion and empathy for the things they're struggling with. And so I think that's that place where you can really match your unique understanding of who your client is, and that, the unfolding that's going to happen to you as you move through your journey as a coach. And for many of you in the plant-based coaching certification program, which is something I highly recommend you do, because again, having that container to really hold you in the leadership journey of becoming a mentor, becoming a coach, not just getting the information that Ocean and his team have so masterfully put together, but that container of normalizing what it is to become a coach, to go practice coaching people, to hold that transformational space. You're going to be alongside hundreds of other incredible leaders who are actually normalizing that journey and lifting you up. And we're going to be modeling for you what you'll be able to do in your business, right? Because we need to receive that transmission of being held in communities where we're growing and choosing and becoming the next version of ourselves. And then we can turn around and hold that space for our clients, whether you start with 2 clients or 10 clients or 20 or 200. That's how we learn, right? We learn by that transmission. And so it's such an incredible program.
Thank you. Well, let's talk a little bit about specifics of AI tools and how to use them. Yeah. So first, I want to say a lot of people don't give AI tools enough context, and then they don't like the response that comes back, because AI can hallucinate. And if you don't give it enough context, it'll fill in the blanks and make stuff up, which can be very impressive, but occasionally very, very wrong. So the key thing here is you want to be able to give it a lot of information. So, the more you've been able to brainstorm and articulate, if you've ever done any speeches or webinars, even talk to a friend or a loved one and record it, and then get that transcribed using an AI tool, those can be really powerful methods for capturing your essence, your nature. You want to capture your stories. You want to capture your values. You want to capture your vision and your dreams. The more of that you can get dictated, captured, recorded, and uploaded, the more smart AI is going to be at representing you, not a generic marketer or a generic coach, but you. Your brand, your values, your heart, your spirit. And in this world, I think that there is an overwhelm of content. It's harder than ever to stand out, but it's easier than ever to stand up. What makes you stand up out, interestingly, is humanity. It's vulnerability. It's your authentic nature. It's your truth that people can feel coming across, not some packaged BS. And the thing is, a lot of people don't realize this. AI can actually make you more human. It can actually help you to convey your vulnerability, your stories, and your humanity in a way that works and that lands effectively and potently when you work together. So now that said, let's talk a little bit about some of your favorite tools.
So I want to also start by saying exactly what you said, Ocean. AI will materialize things that aren't even true if you're not careful. And so what Ocean's pointing you to, and that was so brilliant, is the opportunity for you to create a master prompt, right? To really start feeding into AI what you want it to know about your direction and who you serve and what you stand for and your values, so that you have a copy and paste prompt that you can really plug in whenever you need it to start to really get the information that you want about your clients. My clients are mostly leaning into ChatGPT. There's some great platforms out there. We'll talk about more platforms.
And just to be clear, when we say prompt, we don't mean like a paragraph. We mean like a file that you upload that could be as long as you want. I mean, I've uploaded books of mine into AI tools, right? And then they're like and there's like stories in those books, and like a year's worth of work went into that. And then it's all there and it can build on all of that, which is kind of cool.
Really cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
The other thing I love to do with AI, and a lot of my clients are doing this with ChatGPT, is simply asking ChatGPT not just to create marketing materials for their ideal client, but to actually be their client, to become their client, to think like their client. And what this does is it forces AI, I think, to get even more individual with your clients. And we give our client avatar a name. Interestingly enough, out of the first, couple dozen women that I helped build a 6-figure business, 3 of them were named Emily. So
An avatar, by the way, not the movie, but avatar means like your ideal client. Like it's a way of capturing, like you imagine an actual person. So sometimes when I'm recording a video, I actually think about who I'm talking to, and I picture a real person from my life that's the most like kind of our ideal audience, right? Or who our majority audience is, maybe a 50-something-year-old woman who's passionate, smart, and committed, right? But struggling with some stuff, like I picture it, and then I like talk to that person, and it makes me more human and vulnerable rather than just talking to a screen, or a camera.
Yeah.
So that's why, and when you're writing copy or messaging, knowing who you're talking to, who is your ideal audience, and all that you can know about their dreams, what keeps them up at night, what their struggles are, what their visions are, like that's what you want to be relating to. And then the person you're talking to will feel gotten if you actually get them.
Yes.
So that's an AI can help you crystallize that.
Back to my Emily prompt.
Yes.
We call our ideal client Emily. And if your name is Emily, don't worry, we're not going to lump you into the universal Emily. But I love thinking about my client as a woman with a soul, not a number. And my team and I all relate to our client as this incredible woman named Emily with dreams to change the world, and who wants to serve clients and maybe even speak on stages. And we help AI think like Emily. We tell AI who Emily is, and we ask AI to become Emily. And then I get to have a conversation with my kind of client avatar archetype. And we've gotten some of the most effective headlines and ads out of that kind of a prompt. So it's also really put the authenticity back into AI. And to Ocean's point, your humanity is going to speak just as loud right now, if not louder, than your credibility. And so to continue to work with AI to help you craft your stories. And that's one of the reasons why, let's just go through some of our favorite tools. So ChatGPT is a really incredible resource. It's I think in many ways the most used AI platform. It's very versatile, and it will also manufacture things. So to Ocean's point, it's great to start to branch out and try other platforms. One of the reasons why I like Notebook LM is that it can hold large volumes of information. Ocean and I are both authors, so we've uploaded our entire books into Notebook, and Notebook does a really good job accurately pulling incredible content out of large bodies of information. You've used it.
I have, but I haven't found it to be the best copywriter in the world. So if you want it to, it can synthesize, it can distill, and it does not hallucinate, which is really cool. Yeah. And then you can also use it to create a master prompt for ChatGPT, and then let ChatGPT do your writing, for example. So those are some interesting tools for sure. One other trick, by the way, when you're doing prompting is to think about, style of writing. And I like to recommend write for a 6th grade level. That means keep it simple. You know, no, like I can be very long-winded and I can use long words and long paragraphs and run-on sentences, and that is not best for copy. You want it to be simple and digestible. So that simple prompt has saved me a lot of grief when AI tools just kind of capture it. Anyway, back to the next tools.
No, this is great.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I like Claude. What I find is that Claude is just a lot more straightforward. It writes straightforward, sometimes more accurate copy than ChatGPT. Anything to add on that?
No, I haven't used it a lot, to be super honest with you, but a lot of people I respect are saying it's the #1 app for copywriting.
Yeah. Ocean and I have been playing around with GenSpark a lot, genspark.ai, and GenSpark is great because it knows how to build entire funnels. So it kind of comes pre-programmed with understanding the difference between an opt-in page or a thank you page or a particular kind of email sequence to warm people up for whatever it is that you're offering. And so definitely recommend playing with GenSpark.
So if you want to like host a free webinar and then have that at the end of it, you make an offer and then people can go to a sales page, and then there's an email that they get when they register for the webinar, and then another email they get afterwards linking to the replay page, and then another one the next day that links to the sales page, and you want to build all that, you could like explain all that to GenSpark. And it can even go so far as to design pages for you if you give it the prompts of like what your fonts are, what your color preferences are, even a web page you like, and ask it to create something kind of in the similar vein. And it can actually put it into HTML. Like, so, you know, you'll need some help probably to get it up on a website, but it can take a lot of those steps out. So it's a good all-in-one kind of one-stop shop that's good with copy, decent with design. I probably need some instructions to be really good at it. I'm not a designer, so I'm just going to leave that to the pros. But yeah, GenSpark's really cool, and it can create ebooks. It can all kinds of stuff, you know, that are really helpful in expediting, and scripts for a masterclass. You know, I mean, you may want to be spontaneous and live, but you also may want some parts that are well planned out. So those are all just some great tools for marketing. And I think for strategy, ChatGPT is still my favorite tool for like just having a conversation, giving it some input. The thing is, it doesn't have the longest memory. So it can actually, over a long thread, it can forget what happened at the beginning. And also it's not able to synthesize a whole lot of stuff, but it's fast and it's wicked smart. But if you want something a little more like super comprehensive, capturing your whole story, then like GenSpark might be better able to hold a lot of things at once and fit them all together.
Yeah. Manus is a great AI platform to actually help you create stuff. My team's been making my slide decks with Manus. So if you are somebody that really wants to actually, you know, play around with having tasks executed, try Manus.
Awesome. What about InVideo?
I like InVideo. InVideo can get expensive, so you want to really start with the most basic plan and play around with it before you start pumping thousands of dollars into it. But InVideo will storyboard your videos. And really what so many of us pay videographers a lot of money to do is to match sound bites with the right kind of B-roll footage. And so InVideo can do all that for you. And then you can have a videographer, you could just upload it with all your own favorite images and then swap things out so that it looks the way you want it to. The last one I'll say is, well, two more, I think. Sora, again, is going to create you nice, quick little videos to be able to use in your marketing. And it's quite a bit more affordable than InVideo. And Opus Clip. Anything to say about Opus?
Opus Clip, yeah. I mean, I know we're using it a bit, and it can like, I know that it can capture a whole, like you can feed it, people give it a podcast, for example, and then it'll pull out a highlight reel that they'll stick at the front, you know, and they might pull out a bunch of options and then you can choose the ones you like best. But I know it can do a lot of other stuff. That's just what I'm most familiar with.
Yeah. I think what really I'm so excited about as well for your plant-based coaches is the opportunity for us to really match your messaging and your business plans and your client journey that you're starting to build out with the AI tools that we've been spending, you know, a couple of years playing with already with our teams. And then also with the journey Ocean and his team are going to take you on. When we can match your intuition and your leadership with the strategy and some of the AI tools, we have so much more to teach you, obviously, so much more we could share. And it's just going to be an incredible journey.
It is. And just so y'all know, obviously right now, some of you are plant-based coaches totally doing it. Others of you are just thinking about it and wondering what's possible. But what I want to say is that in the plant-based coaching certificate, we're actually creating a lesson right now with Sage that will go a lot deeper into all this and really give very specific guidance, suggested prompts, and tools to make it work for you. So that will be available to everybody who decides to join the certificate. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Sage, for your incredible work and your wealth of wisdom and being with us today. All right, we'll go back to live now. All right, back to live now, friends. Okay, well, what a fascinating conversation. I hope you got some value from that. We have at least one question from Jennifer that maybe we can answer. Can you discuss how AI and HIPAA interact? We should align with HIPAA privacy for best practices, no? Tracy, any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So coaches, health coaches, even if you are board certified, we are not licensed, we are certified or certification. So we're not legally bound to HIPAA compliance, but it is considered best practice anyway. So that said, we don't want to put any, that's actually what the handout that we developed for the program that we shared earlier. That is exactly how you would use AI. It's literally developed by the ICF, the board who manages health coaches. So that's how you would align with best practices.
Yeah, thank you. We had a question from, let's see, from Dara, who asked, how is AI incorporated in the program? So in the plant-based coaching certificate, we incorporate AI in a number of ways, primarily through a module we're actually adding this year. There's some content in the Next Level collection about AI, but it's not super up to date. So we're going to be working with Sage to create a module specifically on how coaches can use AI. It's kind of like what you just saw, but a lot more specific and in depth, and with a lot of worksheets and suggested prompts you can use, getting really granular. We also have actually, I think, a free directory of AI resources that coaches can use in their practice, a PDF that actually has been given to everybody in this workshop. So hopefully you've gotten to look at that as well. Technologies are changing all the time, so we'll keep looking at how we can stay abreast of this. A lot of people know about ChatGPT, but are not aware of all the other tools that are out there and what they're best for. And even since we filmed that video, Claude has become my new favorite go-to tool for helping with copy. So, you know, and I want to emphasize here that there's the prompt, there's what AI does, and then there's the refinement, and sometimes then another prompt, and then more back and forth. And in some cases, working on like copy, I've actually, you know, I'll create a draft of something or spitball something or record myself just talking about it. And then an AI tool will turn that into a draft. And then I might work on that a bit and then send it back for revisions, you know, and then take that and send it to another AI tool like ChatGPT and Claude and GenSpark and get their feedback. And it's like having a team of people, a bunch of editors that are all working together. And it seems like each round gets better and cleaner and crisper and more potent. And it's just an interesting time to be exploring how to use these things effectively. So Mirjana asked, what AI is best suited for our coaching work? And the truth is all of the large language models actually work in somewhat consistent ways in terms of you give a prompt and you get something back, and a lot of them can do more and more stuff. Like they can do images now in many cases. Some of them are better for actually creating HTML code or design. Some of them are better with copy. ChatGPT has a big problem of overusing emojis, if you all haven't noticed. So if you get an email from somebody that's got a lot of emojis, there's a pretty good chance they got it from ChatGPT. And at least for me, that's a big turnoff. Like I almost don't want to read it. I'm like, because I want to know what they actually think and feel, you know, and if ChatGPT helps them articulate their thinkings more clearly and more effectively, then I'm all for that. But I still want them to own every word they send to me, right? And you want to be that way too. That's part of the authenticity and trust piece. Let's see. I think we've covered the questions. So let's move along now. We've talked about some tools. Now let's talk about authentic human connection and community. Group coaching can multiply results. It can build belonging and scale impact, and it can keep costs accessible. So now please join me in welcoming Coach Makini Duewa, who is a nationally board certified health and wellness coach, a functional nutrition counselor, a childbirth doula. How awesome is that? and an educator with more than 2 decades of experience leading transformational wellness programs. Coach Makini serves as lead faculty and coach mentor for our plant-based certificate program. Makini is a master at creating group experiences that feel safe. And as you've likely witnessed if you've been enjoying our alumni panels in the last couple of days, our students cherish their time with her in PBCC. Now, in today's session, she's going to share how group coaching can expand your reach and strengthen values-aligned communities, and how it can amplify individual growth through connection, accountability, and shared purpose. Makini, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Ocean. I am deeply honored to be here among such phenomenal people and within this values-aligned community. And speaking of community, I have a little something to say about that. So, I love group coaching, and I am so excited to share just a touch about why that is. Okay, so the title of my talk today is Group Coaching and Community Engagement. Next slide, please. The power of gathering. Every revolution begins with a gathering. Well, to be fair, it begins, I think, deep within the soul of the individual until we share it and use it and catalyze it with community and others. And so when we gather in circles or in kitchens, in churches, in online spaces, in community, something really ancient happens. And that is healing accelerates and courage begins to move through us. The lines that divide us shift into a sense of shared purpose and belonging. Have you ever had the pleasure of being in a space like this, in a container like this? So, if facilitated well, group coaching isn't just a format, it's a return to what makes us human. And connection, reflection, and shared growth is paramount. In a world that often tells us to heal in isolation, no one wants to hear us complain, right? And so in group coaching, it reminds us that transformation can really thrive in community. And that is why I submit that connection is medicine. Next slide, please. So today I'll share a little bit about how group coaching can create a safe and inclusive space, can strengthen values-aligned communities, amplify individual growth through connection, accountability, and shared purpose, and expand your reach as a coach, educator, and change maker. Next slide, please. Creating group experiences that feel safe. This is at the very core and the very heart of coaching, period, but especially group coaching. It starts to become a real skill. In my coaching programs, one special bit of feedback is echoed throughout every session, and that is, I felt safe to show up as myself. And that's really what we're going for. Believe it or not, safety is not created by comfort. It's created by trust. Trust has to be built and nurtured. And sometimes stepping into scarier places, it doesn't feel comfortable, but if there's trust present, we can learn, we can grow, and we can share more authentically. Psychological safety is essential to growth. It grows when people feel seen, respected, and invited to bring their whole selves in the space, even the messy parts. So in group coaching, this means setting clear agreements early on, like confidentiality, respect, presence, group needs, going over that really clearly and involving everyone. Modeling authentic vulnerability. Coaches go first with this. We have to show up as our full selves first. Naming, normalizing, supporting, and even celebrating uncomfortability. And as one of our dear coaches likes to say, the uncomfies, bringing your uncomfies into the space, those awkward, raw, uncertain moments and shares that accompany real change. Thank you, Coach Wendy. Okay. Research in positive psychology and social learning theory confirms that when people feel safe in groups, they experience greater motivation, creativity, and sustained behavior change. When we create that safety, participants stop performing and they start transforming. And so I like to think of it as safety opens the door for honesty and true self-exploration, but honesty then opens the door for healing. Slide, please. Strengthening values aligned communities. Group coaching. So we were just talking about AI, and this, all of what we're talking about is the part that I would replace AI with aligned in the group setting, right? There's no comparison and there's no replacement for this. Group coaching becomes exponentially more powerful when it's rooted in shared values, and whether that's health or compassion. Um, I've had the pleasure of working in parent communities and educator communities, professionals that are committed to rebuilding balance or reducing burnout, health seekers, people who are values aligned in feeling better in their bodies and moving toward long-term wellness, faith-based communities. One of my favorite communities, they're guided compassion, service, and caring for others. And how do they bring that to themselves? Women in midlife, community leaders, people healing their relationship with food. So, values aligned communities can be a lot of things, including literal affinity groups, people of the same race or faith. Um, so, what's important to know though is that values alignment doesn't mean sameness, it means shared intention. Um, there's not much more value and heartfelt sense of connection when you are making those connections with people who are different than you, but you come together under a shared value. So when people are drawn together by shared values, something profound happens, and we see that they begin to hold one another up in accountability without judgment. Are there any coaches in this space that have noticed that we don't have to be the sage on the stage? It starts to be the community at large that's lifting each other up, holding each other accountable, and supporting each other. Yeah. So in group coaching, when participants shared a collective goal, like eating more whole plant foods or finding balance, or better yet, authenticity in their daily rhythms, their progress accelerates. They learn from each other's wins and setbacks. They build empathy, not competition. And this mirrors what social scientists like Albert Bandura, or specifically Robert J. Sampson, call collective efficacy. And that is the belief that together we can achieve what feels really impossible or challenging alone. Individuals' belief in their own capabilities. And that's what we're going for, empowerment as coaches. And it's why values aligned communities often sustain change long after programs end, and connection continues. In a lot of my groups, they have WhatsApp groups, they have walking groups, they stay in touch, they're checking in every season. But this has been my pleasure to witness as a ripple effect to what we do in the group setting. Group coaching then isn't only about learning new habits, it's about belonging to a movement of care. And when values are shared, accountability becomes love in action. Okay, next slide, please. The next section is amplifying individual growth through connection, accountability, and shared purpose. Here lies the magic of group coaching, transformation that multiplies through connection. And in our experience, participants described how hearing others' reflections deepened their own insight. I remember one person saying her breakthrough unlocked mine. And that happens a lot when you're, if you're lucky enough to be in a setting where people are checking in and sharing, you realize, me too. Yes, yes. I identify with that. That's peer learning. And I believe that it is one of the most powerful yet unused forms of behavior change is peer learning. And it's why group coaching leads to higher retention and satisfaction rates in health and wellness programs. The brain actually encodes learning more deeply when it's shared, witnessed, and emotionally resonant. And in groups, accountability shifts from I should to we will. And we cheer each other's progress, laugh, and cry through setbacks and build the courage to begin again. And that is a term that we use a lot. Over time, participants don't just adopt healthier habits, they reshape their identity. And they begin to see themselves not as people trying to change, but as people who are learning how to and deeply wanting to thrive authentically. And that's the bridge between personal healing and collective evolution. And so healing happens when we realize we're not walking alone, we are walking each other home. I deeply believe that health is a pilgrimage to one's deeper, truer self, and we can go farther together. Next slide, please. So, expanding your reach. This is just one of the most wonderful perks of group coaching. For coaches and wellness leaders, group coaching isn't only impactful, it's sustainable. When fostered well, it allows you to support more people affordably at one time while deepening, not diluting the quality of transformation. And for me, as a busy mom of four, group coaching has allowed me to continue to bring into the world what I love and what I feel like I do best while still having time for my family and my kids and other things. Each group becomes a living ecosystem where the wisdom doesn't flow only from the coach, but through the participants themselves. As you expand your reach, your role shifts from teacher to facilitator, from expert to mirror, um, and from guide to gardener of sense, like bringing out what's within the people in your space. Next slide, please. Okay. For this, I want to pull up the chat because I have some questions for you guys. Okay, so a few practical reflections for you, but first a question. Think of one group or community that helped you grow. What made it feel safe? Please share in the chat. When you think of one group or community that helped you grow, what was one thing that made it feel safe? I see the feeling of love and support, the coach and the platform that was offered, collaboration rather than competition. That's huge. When others were listening, shared struggle. Yes. Food revolution, community helped. Wonderful. Inclusivity, meeting people where they are. That's huge. Free of judgment. That's powerful. Yes. Feeling supported. Mission teams preparing for trips, shared excitement. Everything's coming so fast. Wonderful. Cheerleading, yes, celebrating, openness, kindness, yeah, Okay, all right. I'm gonna keep going. Fun and humor, that's an important one too. A lot of laughter. And in online communities like this, I do love an active chat as well, where we're talking and we're sharing with each other, but also people are saying in the chat, good job, so and so. I loved hearing that. You're doing great work. Just shared support. Okay, thank you. Thanks for your responses. And so, if you are a coach or aspiring coach, what kind of container, consider what kind of container do you want to create? And by container, it's just that authenticity. Beautiful. Yeah. Um, as coaches, we hold this container, this space for our clients to develop and grow inside of, and like we're the guardrails. What is that container? Is it love? Is it compassion, growth and gratitude, non-judgmental, safe, inclusive? Yes. I don't know if you can see it because I can't see myself, but I always have this heart on my desk or sometimes in my palm when I'm coaching because it gives me courage and it allows me to remember why I'm here, just to hold everyone. Yes, in safety and celebration. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And then what tone and values or practices will help your group feel safe? All of the things you mentioned that helped you feel safe in your own spaces, those are the values and practices that you want to bring into your groups. And then how can you balance structure with spontaneity, allowing space for what's alive in the moment? A lot of that has to do with planning and with letting there be enough space in your agenda for moments. Also, kind of knowing what's coming before and after a group in that particular moment. And so I can push this content for the next time because this right here is really important. I hope that I see some of you in the coaching program and we can continue to talk about these. But the science is clear that people learn more deeply and sustain change longer when they do it together. And the art of group coaching is how we hold that space with curiosity, courage, and heart. Last slide, please. And so, group coaching is where humanity meets healing. It's the practice of turning insight into action, loneliness into belonging, and purpose into shared transformation. The revolution we need is one of connection, especially today in this sometimes challenging and always changing world, especially with AI. We need this connection. And may you continue to walk in health and courage and community. And may the groups you lead become circles of transformation that, at best, ripple far beyond your reach. Thank you. Thank you for listening. And I am open to questions.
Oh, thank you, Makini. So beautiful, so wise, so true, so profound. We have a number of questions coming in. Let's see. Anonymous attendee said, how are you addressing the huge GLP-1 usage? How would coaches sell Whole Foods plant-based lifestyle and support people using these meds? I could touch on that briefly to say, yeah, GLP-1s are very widespread and will clearly become more so in the times to come as they cross bridges and learn how people can take it orally instead of with injections, which will make it a lot more palatable. What we are seeing so far is that most people who go on GLP-1s don't stick with it beyond a year or 18 months. Partly it's they don't like there are side effects. They don't like how it makes them feel. They don't like the injections, or it's just plain expensive. Sadly, most people who go off GLP-1s gain the weight right back, sometimes even more so than before, which is a very devastating experience for psychology and also for the human body. So clearly there's a need for, I think, while people are on GLP-1s, for them to develop healthy, solid habits and foundations so that when the cravings come back, which they will when they go off of them, they at least have some structure to hold them on a healthy path and keep going, right? It's like you get free from all those cravings and you can do stuff with that freedom if you use that time wisely. So I think people on GLP-1s absolutely kind of must optimize that time span to create healthy habits. And the other side is that when you're eating less calories overall, you actually can risk nutrient deficiencies if you still have those calories that remain coming from junk foods. So it's really important to optimize nutrition for safety and well-being while on GLP-1s. And we're also finding that a lot of people may find the cost just prohibitive. And the good news is that there are food-based approaches, lifestyle-based approaches that can accomplish the same kinds of results. Bright line eating from Dr. Susan Pierce Thompson has actually been found in studies to be as effective as GLP-1s while saving money for patients or for users. And Susan is one of the faculty members in the plant-based coaching certificate. So we go a little deeper into how that methodology works and how it intersects with the plant-based coaching journey. Did you want to add to that, Makini?
Thank you. Thank you for sharing about that, Ocean. That was really helpful. The only thing I would add is that we're just here for it all as coaches, you know? And what I really mean by that is when someone says, all right, how do I do this? How do I achieve this goal that I have? Either it's because they went off of those meds and because they couldn't sustain change, or because they're learning the research and they're concerned, whatever brings them to our container is what I'm ready for.
Yeah, thank you. Sonia said, I love group coaching as well. I've run quite a few. It all started during COVID and was virtual. I had tremendous engagement and it was ultra rewarding. In 2023, that changed. Most became very busy when life started to get back to normal, and I lost my motivation to bring the program back, especially the marketing. Most of my participants came through referral. I put a lot of energy into marketing on social channels and did not get any bites. So what other ways can I get participants and run the program in a more engaging way outside of Zoom or hybrid, I think is the word.
Hmm. That's a great question. And I had a similar experience where group coaching was really thriving online. And personally, I had some family health setbacks, and that changed my momentum. But still, right, is how do we get back in it? How do we bring our heart into it? One of the things that came to mind when I heard your question is live talks, if or even online talks. But I love to find, especially if you want in person, I like to bring a talk to communities of educators, communities, parent communities, gyms, even my local market. I have a market near me that sells broccoli sprouts, and not a lot of markets sell that. And when I talk to them, like, do you know what is special about this, and can I talk to your community about it? And you know, so that's just one idea I have, is I think it would be really fun to bring that live component. And always there's a group of people who come back to me and say, how can I do what you're doing? Or how can I join what you're doing? Not to mention the shared mailing list. So when these communities share about my talk, they also share my information, and that's really helpful to getting clients.
Yeah, thank you. Caroline asked, does FRN have an established framework of best practices for group coaching that will be covered in the certificate program, similar to this talk, but more comprehensive? And thanks so much. Great talk.
Thank you.
And I would say, yes, we have a lesson dedicated to group coaching that's a lot more comprehensive than this introduction. A lot of what we're doing in this workshop is introductions, introducing concepts, sharing highlights, but essentially everything in this workshop, we go a lot deeper in the certificate.
Absolutely. Yeah. My hope was to whet your palate and your appetite for the idea of group coaching. But not only do we have a lesson by Dr. Howie Jacobson, but We also have live events and deep dives where we can just continue to unpack it and to talk about it. So, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Janine asked, did you initiate your groups, or did groups like a church come to you?
Hmm. That's a good question. Both, a little bit of both. I usually initiate it. I usually just let someone know what I'm doing and find I tend to understand a group's pain point or a community's pain point.
Mm-hmm.
Then I ask, would you be interested? I have this program and I can do it with your community. And often that's well received. Every now and again, the more people know what I'm doing, sometimes then they do ask, can you speak to, even at my children's after school programs or sports, oh, you do this. Could you talk to our group? So that happens as well. And some of the magic is just kind of always being ready and
Yeah.
talking about what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And I also want to say I love in the question referencing churches and other groups that already exist that can be an amazing opportunity to tap into that community. So if you are part of a faith community, a senior center, a club, a network, there's people there that they could have interest, and particularly communities of faith can be a really powerful space to move forward. Because there's already a certain amount of trust and coherence, and if you can tap into that, I think there's a lot of pastors and faith leaders who want their followers to be healthy, and so it is a potent opportunity. Let's see. Sonia said, I also burn out because I put so much of my energy and love into the program.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think something I want to say about first, I want to say something about overwhelm. I think overwhelm is actually underwhelm sometimes. We're not doing what we really are supposed to be doing. Like, we get overwhelmed because a part of us is not satisfied, nourished, and fed. Like, when there's something I need to do to take care of my health, to express love to somebody I care about, like the things that really matter the most in life. Like, if we're getting distracted from that, from stories that we just can't do it because there's not enough time, the things that actually matter the most to our souls, then I think we tend to feel a bitterness or resentment takes root inside, and that can be showing up as a kind of overwhelm. But deep down, when we're really doing what we are most on this planet for, I think we're often resourced in remarkable ways. Now, that said, of course, you can overdo it, and overstress. So I look for the things that actually light me up. Like, how do I do things that make me more alive? More love in my heart, more joy, more dance, more vibrancy. And if I'm doing those things, I find they're regenerative. And of course, I also still need to sleep. I still need to eat. I still need to take time for self-care, but those things also bring me alive in a way. They help me feel more deeply whole. So to the extent that we can bring that into our lives, I think we have more pleasure and more joy.
And
Um,
can I
yes,
ask?
please go for it. Last one here. Yeah.
Sure. This is the beauty of group coaching. We talk about this. We talk about this. So it's not just the food, it's not just the blueberries, eating more of those. It's literally what gives us more life and more energy for the things that we want to do, and finding out what that is for you and adding creativity to and honoring yourself is part of the passion. So exactly what Ocean is saying is what I have the pleasure of hearing group participants share, and we inspire each other to and I would say and build momentum for what's most important.
Yeah, thank you. Build momentum for what is most important. If you take nothing else from this workshop, I hope you get that. Makini, that was beautiful. You've shown us how the heart of coaching lives in connection, in the courage to hold space for growth within a community, and that when people feel seen and supported and inspired together, transformation doesn't just add up, it actually multiplies. There's a synergy. A whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And as we think about expanding that ripple of impact, our next speaker is going to take us a step further. How do we as coaches step into leadership, not just as guides for individuals or groups, but as catalysts for a movement? I want to invite you to join me now in welcoming Melinda Cohen. Melinda is the business coach to coaches. She achieved fast success when she launched her own coaching business, quickly replacing the income from her previous job in 2004. Then she started helping other coaches grow their businesses using the principles that had worked so well for her. Melinda was the co-founder and CEO of the Coaches Console, which is a software that coaches use to streamline and run their businesses. She led it for 21 years. It's now one of the bonuses that comes with plant-based coaching certificate. She brought both her expertise in systems and self-care to help coaches eliminate business overwhelm while creating sustainable businesses without burning out. She's helped, get this, more than 120,000 coaches to build sustainable and vibrant businesses. She and her team also brought the power of coaching and training along with her software to help coaches create a clear and realistic path to a business that they love. She's written 3 books, The Confident Coach, The Professional Coach, and her most recent one, Sustainable Success. Melinda, welcome. The floor is yours.
Hello, hello, hello. And I just love the conversation that you and Makini were having about overwhelm and burnout and doing the things that light you up. Like that's what the book is all about. And that's where the joy, where we get to protect our joy for the passion that we're pursuing. And so while we're all here today to talk about how do we pursue this thing called coaching and what do we do with it, how do we do it to protect our joy is something to always have at the forefront with everything. And I just noticed, I was just looking at my screen, my sun catcher decided to start moving, and I've got this rainbow that just keeps going over my face, which is really interesting. I can't stop it right now, so hopefully it's not too distracting. But let's go ahead and let's dive in because I'm going to share my screen for 1 second. So we'll share the screen and we will start the slideshow. And we should have that. Let me get the chat back up so I can see that. Give me a thumbs up in the chat or a yes in the chat if you can see my screen, still hear my voice, maybe even still see the rainbow going across my face. Okay, perfectly. So as Ocean said, I'm Melinda, and I am deeply honored to be here with you today. For the past 3 years, I've had the privilege of helping Ocean and Tracy and the Food Revolution Network shape the plant-based coaching certification program. And this pillar 3, is like, this is where my heart lights up because this is where your mission meets the people who need you. This is where your life's purpose comes to life and where you get to protect your joy so that your purpose continues to light you up. Now, this session is called Becoming a Leader in the Coaching Movement. And leadership in this context doesn't mean followers or fame. We're not talking about big egos here. It means stepping into the role of someone who catalyzes change, who helps people through that change. One conversation, one client, one community at a time. And that's what this is about, because as you're learning about nutrition, as you are learning about coaching skills and you're bringing all that together, how do you bring that in service to the world? And that's the kind of leadership that I want to talk to you about today. And I want to get into what that really can look like, because a lot of coaches, especially newer coaches, they don't think of themselves as leaders yet. Like when I first started my coaching business back in 2004, I didn't think I was a leader. I didn't think I was an entrepreneur. I was just here to help people. That's what really started it, right? And so a lot of coaches don't think of themselves as leaders. They think of leadership as something that you have to earn later after you do enough stuff, or once your business is big enough, or your confidence has grown enough, or you've helped a certain number of people. But the truth, leadership, when you decide to help someone transform their health, their life, you have already stepped onto the path of leadership. And leadership, it looks like, let me go back to that slide again. It looks like standing for what's possible in somebody's health. And this next bullet is probably my favorite. It's about holding a higher vision then your clients can hold for themselves. That's the beautiful thing about being a leader or being a coach to somebody. It's about choosing service, even when your doubt is skyrocketing, even when I call them your villains, when your villains are getting the best of you and that the chatter in your brain seems so loud, and yet you choose service. And it's showing up consistently in alignment with your values. And one thing that I always remind my students and clients, it's this. You only need to be one step ahead of the people that you're serving. I'm going to repeat that. You only need to be ahead by one step. That's it for the people that you're serving. Now, sometimes you might be miles down the path that they're just getting started on. Other times you might just be 1 or 2 steps. Either way, you can lead because you have insight, you have perspective, you have lived experience that they don't yet have. And that can be of service to them. So you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing and present with them. And that's what makes a great leader, a great coach. Now, there's 3 essential qualities of what I'm going to call a mission-driven coach leader. And so let's talk about these 3 qualities. I'll share them with you quickly here, and then we're going to go through each of them. And so the first is purpose-led, right? Purpose-led. The second is service-oriented. And then the third, my favorite topic, is sustainable. And so purpose-led, your why you're doing this thing, why you want to be a coach, why you want to help people adopt a plant-based lifestyle. Your why becomes the lighthouse. It becomes your why, and being able to express your why, articulate your why, talk about it, share it. That is the thing that people gravitate towards. And as you're on your own plant-based lifestyle journey, you are quietly, or maybe not so quietly, but you're modeling what's possible for others. Your reasons and your why become the thing that others notice, that other people feel, that this is what people can rally around, right? Your why fuels you on your coaching business journey, because as you start living your gifts in the world, if you decide to open your own coaching business, or maybe you decide to get a career, but either way, as you start on your own journey, there are going to be challenges. There's going to be tricky spots. There's going to be things that you're learning. Things are going to feel uncomfortable. But your why is what fuels you to keep going. And your why becomes a beacon for others that you're meant to lead. And so I want you to ask yourself, what's the change I feel called to help create through coaching? What is that change? Because your purpose, it's the foundation of your practice. It's the foundation of your marketing. It's the foundation of how you're going to create your coaching packages and pricing, how you're going to deliver your services. And so what's the change that you feel called to help create through coaching? Now, I use an exercise that I've included in all 3 of my books, and I use it with all of my students when they're first starting out on their journey. I call it the stair step to your why. This is actually in the certification program as well. But I ask everybody, why is becoming a coach important to you? And then whatever answer you give, whatever it is, then ask, why is that answer important to me? And take a few moments to write that down or pause and reflect on that. And then with that answer, ask it again. Why is that answer important? And again, why is that new answer important? And you're stair-stepping your why. And as you go deeper, the clearer your beacon becomes. And the clearer and more connected you are to your why, the more courageous you become in the midst of uncertainty, in the midst of newness, in the midst of learning things. And the more courageous and confident you become, even when you're new, in holding space and serving your clients. Now, the second essential leadership quality is being service-oriented. Now, I don't think anybody here is going to have a problem with this. I feel like you are already naturally inclined to this, but I'm going to mention it because it is worth mentioning. Successful coaches, they don't chase clients. They focus on impact, the results that they can help people experience. And impact, those results that you help other people accomplish, the transformations that they experience, that impact, it naturally attracts other people. It's like that old movie, and I'm probably going to date myself. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. A little bit of a spoiler alert, but it's worth it. It's that old movie When Harry Met Sally. Now, I'm not going to describe this scene. You know if you know. But all of a sudden, somebody sitting next to Sally says, "Whoa, I'll have what she's having." It's like that. When you focus on your service-oriented approach, and you focus on serving others to help them create results, others take notice. Others want to work with you. I'll have what she's having. Can you help me get that too? Other people will refer you. They tell others about you. Now, service, it can look a lot of different ways. Service can look like educating your community, right? When Makini was just talking about, maybe you go to local associations, local groups, and you present to people, you talk to people in those communities. Maybe you're sharing your stories. It's one of the big things with AI that we heard Tracy and Ocean and Sage even get into. While AI is great, it doesn't have your lived stories. How can you share your stories? And that might sound something like, "Oh, I remember a time when," and you share that story with a potential client, a potential referral source, an existing client. Service can look like celebrating wins, bringing empathy and encouragement, modeling what's possible. A lot of this we cover in the coaching part of the program. But that service-oriented focus is what allows you to radiate. You've been hearing everybody talk about being authentic, right? That service-oriented approach is what allows that to radiate out for others to notice. Now, the third quality, and this one's closest to my heart, this is about being sustainable in your business or your career, however you choose to bring your mission to the world. Because you cannot lead from a place of burnout. You cannot model transformation if you're depleted. You can't hold space for others if you're constantly in this state of high anxiety or strung out. And so many entrepreneurs believe that exhaustion is just inevitable. It's a part of starting my own business. It's just going to happen, so let me figure out how to manage it. No, that is an old, outdated story. It does not just come with the territory. It's not true. It doesn't have to be true. And this is why the certification program that Tracy and Ocean have created, it's why it teaches you how to build a coaching practice or how to pursue a coaching career that sustains you energetically, emotionally, financially, soulfully. When you give from overflow, not depletion, you stay aligned, you stay authentic, you deeply connect to your purpose, you live, as Ocean said earlier, you keep doing what lights you up, right? You're not underwhelmed. You're not bored. Somebody typed that into the chat. And serving from this place of sustainability, sustainable success, leveraging self-care as a strategic business advantage, that place expands your income and your impact. Yeah, Jennifer just said in the chat, there's a saying that we can't fill from an empty cup. Right, we can't fill from an empty cup, we can't hold space, we can't serve. So that's why that service approach, that's why our why, that's why the sustainability, that's why these are three essential qualities and characteristics as we step forward in this leadership role as a coach. Now, one of the biggest fears that I hear with new coaches is, how do I build my coaching packages that feel aligned and deliver results that people will say yes to? Will people actually buy my services? Oh my gosh, I'm going to charge what? And so a lot of these fears keep coming up and will often prevent coaches from pursuing their purpose that'll hold them back. So I wanted to share a simple framework drawn from what we teach inside the certification program to help you, again, like Makini said, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We go deeper into all of this in the third pillar and even in the bonus material that you'll have access to. But I wanted you to have a simple framework to kind of quiet those fears so you know what's possible. And the first thing is to start with transformation, not the sessions. When you are engaging with somebody who might become a coaching client, you don't start with the coaching sessions. It's not about the coaching sessions. That's a vehicle. We start with the transformation. This is a common mistake that I see coaches make, even experienced coaches, is they try to sell time. They try to sell coaching itself. But here's the truth. People do not invest in coaching. They invest in results. They invest in transformation. So that's where we start. Ask yourself, what does my client most want? What is the thing that what's the change that they most yearn for? What are the urgent changes that matter to them? The answers to that, you begin to build your coaching package around, including whatever's needed to support them in experiencing those changes. The coaching sessions, just one part of it. It's just the vehicle that's going to help your clients accomplish that transformation. Now, the second piece of the framework is structure for accountability and consistency. We heard it, I think it was Sage and Ocean that we heard earlier talk about clients don't necessarily need more information. Now, sometimes they need more information. They need to be educated, but information alone is not enough for transformation. They need application. They need integration. And so your coaching package ideally includes regular, consistent coaching sessions. They can be weekly or bi-weekly. Your coaching package also includes check-ins, touch points between sessions. Could be an email, could be WhatsApp, it could be a private client portal, but they have access to you between the sessions should something come up. Your coaching package should also include different tools, resources, trackers. For you, it might include nutrition guides. It might include recipes. It might include resources that are going to help smooth out friction points on their journey, help make their journey easier. You'll include that in your coaching package. And that accountability, that provides the space for celebration. It provides the space for reinforcement. It provides the space for momentum. And so coaching packages go well beyond just the actual coaching session themselves. It's one part of it, but it's important to support your clients before the session, of course, during the session, after the session, and in between the sessions. It's what I call offering exquisite client support. And there's simple resources and ways to do it, so it's not overwhelming for you. It doesn't take more of your time. It too can be streamlined. And then the third piece in the framework is to make sure that your coaching packages are reflecting your values. And you want to make sure that you're also reflecting your values through your pricing and the boundaries that you hold. And this matters a lot more than coaches realize. Let's say your values, one of my top values is integrity. So if your values include integrity, offer what you can deliver well. Don't try to do too much or be everything to everybody. You'll be out of integrity. You won't be living your values, and people will be able to sense that. Maybe your values include service, right? That's a big one for most people. So include support that truly moves the needle. Don't just include the support because somebody told you this is what you're supposed to do and it ticks the box. Like, include the kind of support that matters to you and moves the needle for them. Maybe sustainability. That's another big one for me. Maybe that's one of your values. And so when we talk about pricing, and we cover this in great detail in one of the bonus sessions, we talk about creating what I call aligned pricing in a way so the pricing of your packages supports your life so you can be profitable in your business while providing great value to your clients. But it's also aligned, the pricing is aligned with the transformation you provide. There's so many coaches out there undervaluing. They provide this amazing transformation that their clients actually call priceless because it's been such a game changer in their lives. But the coach, out of fear, puts a very low price on it because they're scared to charge anything. And that disconnect prevents you from getting clients. And we go into that into greater detail, but we have to find that sweet spot. And so when your offer reflects your values, selling becomes like service. Now we're not pressuring people. We're not being manipulative. We're not having to convince people. We're just able to be of service. And that's the last thing that I want to share with you is communicating your value. This is another place where coaches will kind of get tripped up. And some of this, it just takes practice. And we actually do that practice within the certification program. There's enough time built in where you're practicing this. So you're practicing how you communicate this when the stakes aren't high, when you're not trying to convert a client, but you're practicing with partners in the program. And so a lot of coaches will hesitate when it comes to sharing their offers or their packages because they don't want to come across as feeling pushy. They don't want to be pushy. But communicating your value it's not about convincing anybody. It's about helping them understand what's possible with your support. I'll say that again. It's about helping them understand what's possible with your support. And then they can decide if and when they're ready for that support. And here's a quick example I'd love to share. My former business partner recently discovered that she had serious heart issues and needed heart surgery. Now, she asked around for the best doctor in our area. And when she met him, he said this. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I can help you. And here's exactly how." And then proceeded to lay out exactly how he could help her. Was he being pushy? No, he wasn't selling. He wasn't being pushy. He was offering the solution she deeply needed. That's what you do as a coach. You are the missing puzzle piece that somebody is searching for. Holding back actually denies them access to the solution that they're looking for. You're doing a disservice. Now, we don't have to convince them. We do have to communicate what's possible through our support. Now, I want to give you 3 phrases that I and a lot of my students have found it helps to feel more natural when you're talking about your offers. And so here's those 3 phrases. Here's what I'm hearing. And you reflect their goals. And when you do that, people feel deeply seen and it creates that bond of trust with you. The second phrase, here's the path I can guide you through. This shifts from selling and we go into that leading, that guiding. We're the guide as a coach, guiding them down the path that they want to go. And then the third one, here's what working together could look like. And so you're inviting them into clarity and choice, and then they get to decide whether they're ready to say yes and step out of their comfort zone or not. But when you communicate with integrity, people experience you as a coach. They feel the genuine, deep need and desire that you have to be of service to them. You're not showing up as a salesperson. You're showing up, it's what I call the coach approach to selling, service as sales. And so this movement that Ocean is talking about, that Ocean is spearheading, it needs coaches like you. It needs those grounded, mission-driven, being very powerful in your purpose, clear in the work you're here to do. It needs coaches like you. And you're not going to have it all figured out. That's what this program is for. The thing that only has to happen is your desire to do this just has to be 1 degree louder than your fear at this moment. And what we're building here inside this certification program and inside Food Revolution Network, it's not just a certification. That's the vehicle. But this is a collective. This is a community of leaders who are ready to help shift the future of health. And if that's you, if you feel that tug, what I love about Pillar 3, what we're really focusing on today, whether it's individual coaching, group coaching, like Makini was talking about, whether it's starting your own business as a coach, whether it's getting a job and a career in this is how you bring your passion, your work to the world in a way that's aligned and heart-led and sustainable. Right? Your impact doesn't begin on the other side of perfection. It begins the moment you say yes to the work that you are here to do. And so I just want to thank you for the courage that it takes to be here, because pursuing your purpose is no joke. And to be here on day 3, it speaks volumes to how deep your purpose goes. And I just want to thank you for being here, for trusting all of us to help you figure out how to navigate your purpose and bring it out into the world. And that's what we're here for. And I'm happy to take a couple of questions. I think we have time for a couple of questions. Yeah, so you want to dive into that, Ocean? Should we do that?
Yes, brilliant, Melinda. Thank you so much. And thank you again for all that you've done to uplift the field of coaching. You know, so many people have been coached and are making a living as coaches because of you and the work that you've done. And I feel so proud that you said yes to bringing your wisdom and brilliance into the plant-based coaching certificate to really help walk our community through that process of building that business, clarifying the niche, and making it work financially, because at the end of the day, if all good works have to be exclusively charitable and philanthropic, we're going to have a very hard time building a healthy economy, and
Yeah.
so I think creating an economy that's based on good work being well supported is so important, and you really unlock those keys for people. Let's go to a few questions. Janet said, how do you guide with a person who wants to be a prima donna or take over a lot of time?
Yeah. So this, I'm assuming, Janet, you're talking about like in a group setting when you say take over a lot of time. And so inside a group setting, we have to really learn how do we hold space for a lot of different types of people, not just the prima donnas, but also the extreme introverts that are like creeping back to the corner and not wanting to come out. And the answer, you're not going to like this answer, but the answer is too long for me to give right now. That's why we have several months dedicated to different coaching skills, whether it's active listening, reframing, reflecting, understanding group dynamics. It's why we've dedicated so many sessions within the curriculum to go deep and practice that for situations exactly like this, because it's one-on-one coaching. That's one kind of dynamic, but like Makini was talking about, having a group dynamic, now you're having to manage different personalities, different cultures, different races, and so it takes a insight in how to navigate that. So I'm going to leave it right there, because going too far, we're going to go off on a tangent that's not designed for today's presentation.
Yeah, I will say sometimes step up, step back is a useful thing in a group setting, where you say, like, for the people who are often shy or quiet, I want to invite you to step up. And for the people who have a lot of comfort speaking and tend to take up lots of space, I want to invite you to step back so that we can have room for everybody. Or sometimes I like to have like sort of a go around the circle type of thing, where everyone gets a certain amount of time, just to kind of have spaces that democratize, attention, group attention, and make sure that everyone gets included, because a group is stronger when everyone's part of it. And sometimes the quietest person has the most wisdom for the critical moment, and we've just got to like give them that space. Brooke said, you are so inspiring. Thank you. Let's see, Chef Agat just is quoting when you said, your desire to do this just has to be 1 degree louder than your fear.
Yeah, at the Sonia asked what I said, and that right now, whenever I find personally, and with all the coaches and students I've worked with, whenever you're about to lift up that foot and take that step on the path towards something that really is important to you, it's going to feel terrifying. And it's going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to have a lump in your throat. You're going to have knots in your stomach. Those kinds of, your palms might get sweaty. And even in that moment, we don't wait for all of that to go away. We just have to have our desire has to be 1 degree louder than the fear. That's all that it takes, just that 1 degree, and it allows us to take the next step. And you only have to take the next step, and then you just take the next step. Jennifer says, yeah, feel the fear and do it anyway. There's a lot of variations on that, and it's important. What if this fear blocks you? Asked Sonia. If the fear blocks you, that's a great time to not try to unblock it yourself, but get into conversation with somebody else. It's the power of coaching.
Yeah.
And so have somebody on the team or a confidant. Maybe you have a coach, but have somebody else work with you through that, because it's almost, I mean, I've been a coach since 2004. I'm pretty masterful at it. I get stuck in my own stuff. I can't talk myself off that ledge. It's why I always have a coach and a community that I go to.
Yeah. Now I want to distinguish with fear. There's many kinds of fear, but I'll say 2 basic distinctions. One is an actual genuine danger that you should be aware of. If you're walking towards a cliff, you should feel some fear if you're getting close to the edge of it. That's healthy. That's natural. It's important, right? And then there's the chronic fear that just sabotages us, that kind of gets in our way, that never really shuts up no matter what's actually happening, and it's not actually in relationship to reality. It's sort of endemic, and that type of fear I find is not helpful. And so one of the things I look to is I look at that kind of fear a little bit like darkness, and you don't drive out darkness by fighting it. You actually bring some light, and light can be love. For me, like when I'm having a scared part in my body, I want to just bring some love there, bring some kindness there. And I find that things soften and settle and often transform in that field. But also a human being or a coach can help you know the difference, right, between a genuine concern and that place that actually sabotages destiny, and greatness. So one question from Brooke was, and we just have time for like 2 more. So Brooke said, I've tried in the past to start a small business and it was not financially feasible. After a long time trying, word wasn't spreading. I'm hesitant to try another, even though I do deeply believe in this mission. What would you advise?
Brooke, great question. I've encountered a lot of people in that same spot that you're in. While I don't know all the particulars about your scenario, a lot of times when people, well, let me say it this way. One of the things that I think this industry gets a little backwards is somebody is like, oh my gosh, I love coaching. I love helping people. I love serving people. So they go get certified. They go to a coach training program, they get certified. And then the coach training program says, now go find clients. Just go find clients and start practicing. There is a gap between the coach training skills and the go find clients that so many people just say, oh, you'll figure it out as you go. And most people do not. And that gap, it's why I love that Ocean and Tracy have included pillar 3 to actually fill in that gap. It's like, okay, you've got the skills of coaching, you've got the passion of coaching. Now, how do you actually go find the clients? What do you need to know? And there's several things. Like if I were sitting at your desk with you, Brooke, I would start asking things about, well, Ocean talked about it earlier with Sage, your avatar. Who is your ideal client? How clear are you on that? I would talk about your packages, and I would just kind of take a quick assessment with you about, tell me about the packages and your pricing. I would talk, and there's a checklist of items that I would go through to help me pinpoint where you were doing well and where maybe you just needed a few minor tweaks and where there were some things missing. And so you're not as far off as a lot of people often feel. But a lot of people think it's about marketing. That's the last place I would look.
Mm-hmm.
There's other places about your avatar, the way you talk about your packages, how you show up. And there's other things that I would talk about first, and then would get into how are you going out to actually connect with the people, and then the conversation to convert, all of which there's sessions inside the program. So we can go deeper into each of those topics. But yeah, most people are not as far off as they think they are.
Melinda, thank you so much. There's a few more questions that you may want to answer in the Q&A box if you're able to do that after we wrap here. But we need to keep moving, friends, because we have a lot more good stuff to come, including now. And Melinda, thank you. That was just wonderful. Now we want to move to a conversation with some of our plant-based coaching certificate alumni who have built their own versions of success using different pathways that align with their own values. So to guide us in that conversation, please welcome back coach, mentor, and lead faculty, Makini Duewa.
Hello
There we are. Hi, Makini.
again. Uh-oh. I look frozen. Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Okay. All right. Let's see. So, thank you so much for joining us. And what I'm particularly excited about is to bring forward a student that we just love so much. And we would like to take a minute to show her student spotlight. And in this video, we'll share her story that highlights the personal growth and meaningful change and transformative power that unfold through stepping into the role of a coach and community leader. Let's take a look.
As I think about the exact moment when I knew what my mission in life was going to be, I actually do think I knew it as a child, and as an adult, it took a bit of remembering. Hi, I'm Sharon Brown, and I live in Verona, New Jersey. My work started out in the Environmental Protection Agency, and then I moved to the pharmaceutical industry, all because I wanted to either help save the earth or help save people's lives. And I think after becoming disillusioned with the pharmaceutical industry, I was really happy to launch my own business as a life coach, and then later as an energy healer and a plant-based coach. When I think about a specific moment that propelled me into taking action on my dream, the first, I think, was changes in the pharmaceutical industry when I realized that corporate was not the place that I was going to be able to live out my life purpose, and studying to become a life coach and then a trainer of coaches who taught through a social justice perspective. And so I brought that into my plant-based coaching. The turning point there was taking the Food Revolution Network plant-based coaching certification training that helped me really understand that we have the power to change our health outcomes, and that we have more control than we're led to believe. There is a moment that really stands out for me, and that was the time in 2008 when I visited Ghana. It really moved me a lot, and I felt during that trip that I was called back to my ancestral roots, the West Africa, where my ancestors were from originally. I felt a really deep connection to the earth, to the ancestors, to the plants. Plants used for nourishment, plants used for healing. And I really think it propelled me even more onto this journey, even long before I knew it, of helping people heal with plants. I've used what I've learned in the plant-based coaching certification to support and coach others in a couple of different ways. One is to improve my health, to support my husband to improve his, and also to support family, friends, and others in our community to improve their health. I've worked with 2 clients individually, 2 paid clients. One of those clients had a lot of success right away. She had 2 goals. She wanted to lose weight, and she wanted to be able to lower her blood pressure. And she was able to achieve both. And then she joined a weekly group that I'm facilitating, and she's still a part of that group now. And I think the thing that I'm most excited about is a group of 21 people from my church, a predominantly African American church, and 5 of my friends participated in a 21-day Jumpstart program in January of this year. During that program, I mentored a group of 11, and 11 of us have stayed together and continue to meet weekly. I've learned that support is really important on this plant-based journey. And everybody in the group has experienced health improvements that are mind-blowing. So I'm really excited about that.
Okay, welcome back. Isn't Sharon amazing? I'm in a new spot because my reception was bad. Okay, so these, let's see. Thank you so much for watching Sharon Brown's Spotlight video. What a powerful way to open our final day together. And this student success panel today is featuring some amazing coaches, coaches including Sharon Brown. We have Stacy Heine, Cassie Tolman, Tammy Willard as well. And our discussion topic again is defining success and making an impact. And this screen will show at the end in case you want to take a screenshot for later so you can find these amazing people. So again, I'm honored to introduce our panelists today. Again, Sharon Brown, Stacy Heine, Cassie Tolman, and Tammy Willard, 4 graduates of the Plant-Based Coaching Certificate Program who are showing that success as a coach isn't one size fits all. Yeah, welcome forward, everyone. Let's join us with your video on. Okay. So each of them is creating impact in their own unique way, whether it's building a thriving practice or bringing their skills to a mission-driven team or driving systemic change in their communities. Their journeys remind us that success is just can look many different ways. So I'm so honored to have you all meet these amazing humans. Welcome. Hi, everyone. Okay. All right. So to begin, I'm hearing just a little bit of funkiness. So why don't everyone make sure that you're muted? And when I call on you, then unmute. I think that will help us. Okay. I'm just going to dive right in. I want to admit that we are watching our time, and so we're just going to see how many people we can add to each question and just go with the flow. All right. Here we go. Oh, great, great, great. Stacy's with us. All right. So my first question is, how do you define success as a coach? And how has that definition evolved since completing the PBCC program? Okay, I would love to. Oh, welcome forward, Stacy. Okay, I would like to start with you.
Okay, so how I define success as a coach, right? And how that's evolved as I've started with PBCC. So for me, the success used to mean doing something that I love and getting paid for it. But after PBCC, that definition completely shifted for me. Now success feels like living a truly purpose-driven life. Like I'm showing up in a way where people actually transform, where I can see them becoming who they want to be. And that's the huge piece that really, really lights me up versus just kind of focusing on me and the money aspect, right? So this certification really helped me see that success isn't about a certain model or a certain price point even. It's about how effectively I'm supporting human transformation and honoring people as individuals in their pace, with their stories and in their lives. So right now, success looks more like surrendering to my purpose and letting go of rigid expectations and serving in ways that I'm called to, whether that's one-on-one coaching. I'm really loving the high level one-on-one coaching right now. For me, I find that's most transformative for my clients. But I'm also offering retreats now and creating online communities. And it doesn't have to look one specific way anymore. So it's really liberating.
Thank you. Perfect. Absolutely. I love the word liberating in of what your purpose is and what you're doing in the world. That's we were talking about it in the last section. Someone asked about overwhelm and really like how are we bringing forth what's truly inside of us so that it feels sustainable over time. So thank you so much.
You're
All
so
right.
welcome.
Yes. Next, how about you, Cassie?
Thank you, Makini. And I want to say I love your rainbow heart earrings before we start. So for me, success is a moment. And it's the moment when a client connects with their hunger and with their own ability to nourish themselves and to hear what they're really hungry for. And that is different for every person. But when someone can connect with their own hunger in the form of nourishment, they are then connected to their path towards healing. And that's a very exciting moment because I have been able to nurture and foster that. But from there, they can hear the cues about what is needed for healing. And that's just really exciting for me to be a part of that. And everybody comes to that at different stages of life. Sometimes it's a child who is scooping the guts out of a squash and it's, their hands are getting messy. And sometimes it's an adult and they haven't felt that kind of connection to food, connection to real hunger and nourishment in a very long time. So maybe it's a memory, and it's a memory of picking a tomato with their grandmother. And the taste of that tomato comes back and it's in the room with us. And that is the path that they will be able to follow from then on. So it's those sensory moments that connect us to the language of food and the language of nourishment.
Thank you. Yeah, it's interesting how it can be new. So you're bringing something new and it's a wonder to someone and how it just evokes an old memory, bringing people back to their roots. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next question. Each of you is making a difference in your own way. And I mentioned so many different ways on this panel. I'm so impressed with these humans in front of us. What stands out most in the impact that you're having, and why does that feel especially rewarding? And I would love to start with you, Sharon. Hello, good to see you.
Hi, great to see you and be here. I think in terms of impact, what excites me the most is people becoming curious about plant-based nutrition, whether it's in the mentoring that I do through Plant Powered Metro New York and the 21-day jump starts, or the talks that I'm doing at churches, but really seeing people getting curious, seeing people taking those steps to begin to change their diet, and then seeing and celebrating with them the impacts, the health impacts and the improvements that they're experiencing. That for me has been richly rewarding. And I'm just really excited about working with churches and interfaith, but definitely starting with my own church, my past church, to really support people to learn how they can take charge of their health in much more empowering ways through whole food plant-based nutrition.
Perfect. Beautiful. Thank you. I know we've been talking about different communities, and faith-based communities are a beautiful way to bring this work forward. I'm so glad you're doing that. Okay, let's see. How about you, Tammy?
So I think one of the things I love about this whole journey has been I started out doing one-on-one coaching and really enjoyed like that intimacy of what that looked like, and then really grew into group coaching and fell in love with the energy of what that brings, and building community and people supporting each other. And it just grows. Like you go into that and you think you have this idea of where you're going to go and how you're going to support people, and people just end up feeding into their own growth, right? And finding what their next step is and how they can support each other through that experience. So really beautiful doing the group coaching thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you're really doing it. Do you just want to mention one of the ways that you're group coaching?
Yeah, sure. So I started with an organization where we were coaching like up to 300, 400 people on these live calls. And you kind of, in the beginning, I remember thinking, okay, this is happening. Like you just kind of show up and you're getting your feet wet and, people are coming into the live call. And it was a new experience for me, but it was inspiring. And we were able to hold people in that space. It was for something called the Sugar Reset. And then we moved into another program called the Body Renewal, where people did a diver deep into understanding nutrition and exercise and sleep. And then we went into extended nutritarian coaching and the work of Dr. Joel Furman, who I've been certified in, and my partner that I coach with is also certified in his work. And we've had people with us that have been showing up every week for 2 hours on a call for the past year. So it's been amazing to just sort of build that community and keep supporting people in that.
Oh, wonderful. All right. Thank you for sharing. I see that you have a disciple on the call. Someone put in the chat. Okay. On. For someone who's still figuring out their path, maybe exploring a career change or wondering how to begin, what guidance would you share about making a difference in a way that feels authentic and aligned with their values? And, like we've been talking about authenticity and um, bridging overwhelm, transforming overwhelm through authenticity. So, what would you say? Let's see. I will start with Sharon.
Yeah, I think the thing that I've learned about this is I would suggest that people start with thinking about what they're passionate about. I think as a new coach, I first thought about how to build clients, but I think what it really is what do you care about and who do you care about the most? And then really set your sights there and realize how you can impact those groups. I've been concerned for a long time about the health disparities in Black and Brown communities. And even though as a life coach, I coached a diverse group of people, as a plant-based coach, I've chosen to really focus my energies on that population because of the health disparities. And, I think as Ocean said earlier, that's the place where I come alive because it's work that I know can make a big difference in communities that I care deeply about. So that's what I would suggest to people. Follow your passion and give back in a way that honors that passion with your purpose.
Thank you. Absolutely. How about you, Stacy?
Yeah, so for somebody that's still figuring out their path, I would say just to start. And you're probably wondering, what does that even mean? But if you don't know where to start when it comes to helping other people and coaching, I would say start with sharing your story. Your story cannot be wrong in any way, shape, or form. Everybody has their own story and their transformation, and stories are what connect human beings. And it really helps people feel seen because they will hear something in your story that makes them feel like they can relate to you in some capacity. So I would say start with sharing your story or your why or your personal transformation and the meaning behind what you do and why you live your life the way that you do, and share it very imperfectly. Don't don't put too much pressure on yourself and try to make things look too curated or polished, because that's also not relatable. So maybe it's just a small post on social media. Maybe it's an email to friends and family telling them about the new lifestyle that you're living, or the coaching certification that you're going through and how inspired you are. Or maybe it's just hosting a simple plant-based potluck in your community and gathering people. So, but just remember that your story is what helps people find you. And then once you're certified, I suggest that you surrender to your expectations, and your path is supposed to evolve. Just like when we were hearing previous speakers talking about like your niche and figuring out who you're going to serve, that's going to evolve with time through your coaching. And you just have to trust the journey. So I would just say, keep showing up little by little, keep sharing your story. Things will align more clearly than anything. Anything more clearly if you just show up like that versus if you have something forced or too planned. So that's my 2 cents on that. So just be authentic and the work will shape you.
Thank you, Stacy. And I love the thought of surrendering to the journey. We
You
have
just have to surrender every day to all things.
Yeah, once you launch, then it's a journey. It's a good one. Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Okay. Last question. Thank you guys. Your responses have been so inspiring and meaningful. And I hope to fit the last one in here. So let's see how far we get. How has your PBCC experience helped you grow a coaching practice or step into the role of change maker while um, hang on one second. Yes, while staying true to your values in a changing world. So again, how has your PBCC experience helped you grow a practice or step into the role of change maker while staying true to your values in a changing world? I would love to start with Tammy.
I think one of the biggest things that brought me into this coaching and brought me to FRN was the experience that I walked through, right? So my husband was diagnosed with cancer, and we lost him at the age of 40, and I was raising a severely handicapped child that was not able to walk or talk or feed or bathe himself. So being in my full authentic self is a caregiver. It's loving, it's caring for those that can't care for themselves. It's me bathing, my son, and caring for my husband in that way. And so when I tried to find resources as a caregiver to help me through my own journey, it was lacking. I couldn't find that. I didn't know where to turn when it came to nutrition. What could I do to help benefit my family, even though they were struggling and suffering through this? What type of social emotional supports? What type of mindfulness could I bring to the table to help my husband and my son and my family? And these things brought me to FRN. They brought me to Dr. Joel Fuhrman's nutritarian approach as well, is learning about nutrition, how it heals the body at a cellular level, getting these amazing world-renowned people in this program, Makini, you included, and Tracy, and Dr. Cohen, and Dr. Clapper, and Brenda Davis. I mean, I still go back to all of those resources from these amazing leaders in the community. I've got all my little folders and everything that when I need to go back and I need that bit of support as a coach, or even just for people that I love dearly that aren't in my coaching program, I go back to those resources all the time. And I've been a slow roll with my business. It took me a little bit when I first started. I wasn't ready for the social media stuff. And I'm finally building in all like that client's the client resources that you guys have, finally building that into a curriculum for people. So building a curriculum, putting all of those amazing resources that you've given us with the most up-to-date research, so people can see that, they have it accessible to them, and then we do the live coaching. So it's just been sort of playing out everything that we've been trained to do here. So
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tammy. And I think through this panel, people are really getting an idea, like I can do this. It's tricky. I may be apprehensive at first, and it evolves over time. And that PBC has the supplies and the resources and the faculties to support. So I love that. Thank you. We're going to, I wish we could do this all day, but I think we're gonna wrap it up with Cassie. And yeah, Cassie, what do you have to say?
Well, I would say that this certification, which I thought about for an entire year, I got the emails 1 year before I signed up, and it just kept pulling at my heart, and I decided to sign up. But it really gave me the confidence to call myself a plant-based coach, which was really important for me to step out into the world with a new career for myself after having closed my restaurant that I ran for 13 years with my mom, and to be able to step out into this world. And I'm a collaborator, so I see it like picking up a handful of seeds and blowing and seeing where those seeds land and which ones get planted. I love to collaborate with different communities. So finding my people and finding the communities where I can be of value and of service and we can have that kind of exchange with has been everything for me.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. And really thank you all for sharing your experiences. I feel so inspired by you always. You know this, and I wish you well in your journey and your impact. The yeah, the world needs you and really needs all of us watching to share our gifts. And thank you for inspiring our community today. I will I will. I think that we have to keep moving on because of time, but yeah, everyone give them some love in the chat. Yeah, thank you. I wish I could heart the post in the chat. It's just very sweet things. This is an incredible community today. So, as you listen to these stories, you all may feel, participants, you may feel a spark in your own heart or even some sense of calling, and maybe you're considering a career shift or expanding the skills you already use or just beginning to explore how you make an impact. Take this as a gentle invitation to bring your own light and your unique gifts forward. And thank you for joining our panel discussion today. I'll now pass the mic back to Ocean to share more about the plant-based coaching program.
Wow, so good to see you all. Thank you for that beautiful panel. Thank you, everybody, for witnessing these stories, real stories. You know, over the course of these last 3 days, we've heard from almost 15 of our alumni, right? With stories. There are so many more stories like this. People who have lived what we teach in the plant-based coaching certificate and are now changing so many lives. So inspiring. Now, before we move into what's next, I want to bring in someone who's really dear to me and to the entire Food Revolution Network family. If you've ever reached out to our team about plant-based coaching certificate, you might already know her because you may have even had a clarity call with her. Grace Gamboa has been part of our story for many years. As a matter of fact, she's been a friend of our family's going back about 35 years now. Many of you know her as a vibrant, steady presence in the FRN community. What you might not know is just how much courage and wisdom and heart Grace Gamboa brings to this movement. Her plant-based journey began during one of the hardest chapters of her life while she was caring for her mother in her mom's final days. In the midst of grief, she chose a path that led her back to herself, towards healing, vitality, and renewed purpose. Grace is living proof of what becomes possible when we nourish ourselves and allow a healthy lifestyle to open new doors. And today she's here to help us bridge the inspiration of this workshop into meaningful next steps. She'll share a bit of her story and then be there with Tracy and I to support our Q&A and help speak to questions or hesitations you might have about the plant-based coaching certificate, because we want to help you make an informed and empowered choice about whether or not it's for you. So now, Grace, thank you for being here. We're so grateful for your voice and your story and the light that you bring. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Ocean. It's so good to be here. It just warms my heart to hear all these stories and to see some of you I've already spoken to and some who I already have some clarity calls with. So, one of the reasons that it means so much for me to be here is because my own plant-based journey didn't begin with inspiration or optimism like, it often does. It began with one of the hardest passages of my life. And it was when I was caring for my mother as she was nearing her, the end of her life. And when my mom was diagnosed with small cell lung cancer, she was given 3 months to live. And so I brought her, into my home from Los Angeles to Santa Cruz so I could care for her and love her and really simply to just be with her in those last final months. And it was a really scary time and also a disorienting one. And, you can imagine, it's like you're trying to hold on and let go all at once. But my sister and I shared a deep belief in the healing power of food and the potential of plant-based diet. And, my mom came to us with an entire lifetime of eating meat and dairy and fried foods and processed meals. And even though she objected at first, we made a shift so gently, consistently, and lovingly. And we filled her plate with fresh organic whole foods. We gave her what we knew was nourishing and life-giving and clean. And, brings me to tears whenever I talk about it. Something really extraordinary happened. 3 months turned into 6 months. And then that turned into a year. And then a year turned into 3 years. And, her doctors were baffled. They couldn't understand how someone with one of the most aggressive cancers could go into remission. But, we saw the change in her energy and her clarity and her skin, her mood, her strength. We saw the impact of giving her food that her body understood and knew what to do with. She even moved back to her home in LA and started driving again. So, she had an extra 3 years. And, I know it was because she was eating a healthy diet. And my mother did eventually pass, the cancer took over, and losing her just cracked something open inside of me. I mean, as you can imagine, I was exhausted, grieving, trying to find my footing again. My body was depleted. My spirit felt even more depleted. And, again, returning to plant-based nutrition during that time was my lifeline. It gave me something I could actually do, something that helped me feel clearer and lighter, more connected to myself and with my other family members. It didn't take away the grief, but, it helped give me strength inside the grief. And over time, it helped me rebuild a life that felt vibrant and grounded and full of possibility again, where, before I felt just so beaten down. And, what I've learned is people don't just need information. I had information. My mom had information. They don't just need recipes. They need support. They need someone who can, stand beside them during the hardest months, the hardest moments, and remind them that change is possible, that their body can respond, and that food can heal, and that, most importantly, that they're not alone. And this is why I believe that coaching is so important. It gives people more than a meal plan. It gives them hope. It gives them agency. It gives them a way back to themselves. And I know this not because I read it in a book, but because I lived it. First with my mom, and then inside my own healing. And that's why I'm here, and that's why I love PBCC, and that's why I'm a coach for PBCC. It's like the people who come through this program don't just learn facts, they learn how to show up for others with presence and skill and with heart. And they become the kind of coaches that really make a difference in the lives of their loved ones and with their clients. And honestly, the kind of coaching that I continuously strive to be as well. So if some of you are feeling called today, and if you're wondering whether your own journey could help someone else, it can. If you're thinking, maybe I can do this, then I want you to know that that feeling matters and it's worth listening to. Ocean and Tracy and I are about to walk you through what PBCC includes and how to join. And I'll join the Q&A afterwards and speak to more of my own experience if you want to hear more, and to share about what I hear a lot of you speaking with people in the clarity calls and help answer anything that you're wondering about. So Ocean and all of you, thank you so much for letting me share a piece of my story with you. I'm so grateful to be here.
Wow, Grace, thank you. You know, I'm thinking, of course, my dad passed away in June, so this hits home. Your story hits home for me. I'm sure a lot of people can relate who've lost loved ones, who've been a caretaker, who know what it means to try to keep your own cup full or at least not completely empty while you're dealing with urgency and needs that can feel overwhelming. And then what it means when we're able to give the gift of hope or health to someone we love. You know, there's an old saying, a person with their health has 1,000 dreams. A person without it's only got one dream, which is to get their health back. And to a certain extent, the same is true for caretakers, right? Like when they say a parent only is happy as their least happy child, you know, like I don't know that that's entirely true, but the principle is so real that like when someone you love is hurting, you know, like an ache goes through your own soul, right? And so learning how to thrive, to be well, to nourish self, and also how to support others, including some who may not agree with us about our nutritional ideas, is such profound work, you know? And a coach gets to have that impact not only on the client, but I want to say on all the ripples that go out from there. Everybody that client can touch, everyone that client can inspire, all the good that client can do in their life. You know, you could be in the 1,000 dreams business with us, essentially. You know, you can join us in helping people reclaim their dreams, reclaim their lives, and give their gifts to humanity. And that, at its essence, is what a plant-based coach has the opportunity to do. And we're inviting you to consider joining with us in taking that next step to make that a reality in your life. So Tracy, come on back here. Let's walk through a bit of what's in the program.
Awesome. I'm ready to jump in. First I better share my slides. Here we go. All right. Well, we have decided that we've got the world's most comprehensive plant-based coaching certificate program that there is to offer. And I invite you all to do the research as well. I'm sure you'll agree. This is based on our 3-pillar program curriculum. We've got pillar 1 on whole food plant-based nutrition, where you have a deep, comprehensive science and education on how to support people through changing what they eat. Second is coaching. You learn to listen deeply, honor lived experiences, help people turn intention into action. The third is impact. Whether you want to build a business, work at a clinic, or serve your community, we have the tools and structure to create a path that aligns with your own purpose.
And the nutrition pillar has actually been reviewed by the Commission on Dietetics, Association of Nutrition and Dietetics, and dietitians get 55 CPEUs for participation. This is just one example of our statement when we say to you, this is evidence-based, it's rigorous, it's up to date, it's comprehensive, and it's credible. The lead faculty for nutrition include some folks you've seen here, like Brenda Davis and Michael Clapper, as well as Nicole Andrea Russard and Dr. Roman Pollock. And they also are all present for deep dive live calls and in the student forum. Guest faculty for the nutrition pillar include Dr. Joel Furman, Dr. Mimi Guarneri, Dr. Christy Funk, Dr. Columbus Batiste, Dr. Susan Pierce-Thompson, dietitians James and Dahlia Marin. It is comprehensive.
Indeed. Pillar 2 is focused on coaching. This was reviewed and is approved by the National Board for Health and Wellness Coaching for 24 CEUs. It's also been reviewed by the CPD, which I don't have a little stamp here for, but it's an international organization for continued ed. You will get to spend time learning with me and with Dr. Howie Jacobson, Coach Makini Duewa, and Melinda Cohen, who you met today. We're available to you in the forum and also in real-time live calls. Our guest faculty are some of the most respected voices in coaching today. We've got Margaret Moore, Erica Jackson, Elliot Connie, Nancy Stubbs, and many, many more that bring decades of combined experience in behavior change, positive psychology, and motivational interviewing. And we have in our impact pillar, this is where your vision becomes something real. And because everyone's path is different, this pillar is optional to you, but incredibly valuable.
There's 3 different pathways, so you can choose to mix and match or take them all or just take one. There's an entrepreneurship collection with Melinda Cohen. There's an employment collection with Teresa Keppel, and there's the Changemaker collection that I host with Leanna Levine Reisner. So you can learn about how to build a business, how to get employed, or how to change the world, or all 3. And the curriculum is comprehensive, and we have a thorough overview of it. I'm going to place a link in the chat to that, and maybe we can also get that up on the broadcast page in the comment section if you want to take a look in more depth at the curriculum that's included. You'll also find it at certificate.foodrevolution.org. There's a link if you scroll down a little bit that goes in depth. If you want to know what we're covering and how it all rolls out, that's what you'll find there.
Yes. I'm excited to share that our live calls will begin January 13th. It's going to be here in the blink of an eye. And we'll kick it off with some welcome calls. We're going to have welcome calls with faculty, welcome calls with your community, the entire cohort. And then we start to drop lessons out beginning Monday, January 26th. It's a 6-month long program. And there is a 2-week break at midterms, which coincides with our Food Revolution Summit, which is lovely. But this program is designed to be 100% online and flexible. We know you have busy schedules, and it is exactly designed to accommodate that. Everything is on demand. There's nothing physically mailed. There's about 2 to 4 hours of pre-recorded lessons every week, plus some live calls that are optional to attend. So all in, you're looking at about 5 hours a week. Every lesson has transcripts. All the research is cited. Slides are available if you are a dynamic learner. There's a ton of additional resources, handouts, assessment tools, a whole toolkit for our coaches that it's rebrandable. You put your own label on that. You also have unlimited access to our plant-based recipe database. And to complete and be considered yourself certified, you have to complete 2 exams. One is the midterm, one is the final. The passing score is 80% or more. You can retake them. And as we've said, Pillar 3 is optional to take, like on pace with the program, and a lot of people go back to it afterwards, but there is a ton of great information there. There's just no exams on it.
Yes, exactly. Oh, more for you, Tracy.
Yeah, one more thing. Live calls. They are juicy. They are nourishing. They are exciting. It's really where what you're learning comes alive. You can ask, if you're not able to make it, you can ask your questions in advance in the forum, and we will go ahead and answer them live. So you get the recordings within 24 hours of every single call. We'll go deep every module with the lead faculty for nutrition and coaching. We'll have 12 practice pods. If you were with us and learned about those 6 fundamental skills on Tuesday, this is where those come to life. A lot of breakout rooms and practicing. It's an intensive. We also have 6 impact sessions, and that is for the second half of the program when you can work with Ocean even on developing your own career path. We have 6 student support calls that are peppered throughout the training. You could just drop in and get any kind of support you need. And of course, we have many other ways to get our support, which I'm not going to cover right here and now, but tons of ways. Again, you'll get all of the transcripts and live call recordings.
So as you probably know, because you've been with us for a couple of days, we have a special opportunity if you join in by the end of day tomorrow. That's the deadline to get the workshop promotion discount and the bonuses. So normally the price is $6,582 on a payment plan. or $59.97, essentially $6,000 if you pay in full. But right now, the workshop only offer is a discount that essentially knocks $1,000 off the full price, or a big discount for payment plans as well, $997 a month or $4,997 if you pay all at once. And your enrollment gives you more than $12,000 worth of bonuses, including unlimited access to Whole Life Club, 2 years of Food Revolution Summit empowerment packages, our last one and the 2026 one when it comes out, the 14-day plant-powered accelerator, a course called Unlocking Longevity, the last course my dad ever created, 6 months of live mastermind sessions with me, where we get to go deep in the Ocean Robbins mastermind, and the Next Level collection, which is interviews with some of the top experts on podcasts, how to launch a book, how to do SEO and build organic traffic, tips on advertising, tips on building up a team with experts, like world-renowned experts in these areas, how to use funnels, or how to build a community or a membership program. All of this is in there in the Next Level collection, which is a bonus if you want to go further with the business. You'll also get a 1-year free listing in the Plantrition Project directory, which we will promote to our 1 million members, directory of healthcare providers and plant-based coaches. You get discounted pathways if you want them towards board certification or advanced degrees in lifestyle medicine. And you'll also get a discounted offer for Coaches Console, the software that Melinda developed. It's an all-in-one platform to host your own coaching business where you can track clients and do marketing and put up a website all in a matter of basically minutes. So if you want to reserve your spot and get all the bonuses, the key thing is you've got to submit your $100 refundable deposit by the end of day tomorrow, Friday, November 21st. Fill out a short application. We'll review it within a week. If you're accepted, which most folks are, your deposit applies towards your tuition. If not, it's refunded in full. And that's kind of how you get your hat in the ring. And then you've got 2 weeks after you're accepted to submit your payment. And that keeps you locked in with all of the bonuses and keeps your spot held. We're capped at 300 spots this year. I don't know if we'll hit that or not, but it is first come, first serve. We have almost 300 deposits received right now. So if you want to make sure you get in, don't delay. I want to really let you know our promise to you is that when you complete this, you'll walk away with a lot more than a certificate. You'll have clarity, confidence, skills, purpose, a community of support that's with you every step of the way, and a new lease on life. I can end the slides now. Grace, any other thoughts you want to share right now?
You know, I would just like to say that I am so impressed, as usual, with Food Revolution Network and the content that it puts out, and the heart that everyone who is presenting here and works at Food Revolution Network lives by. And I know it's like no other organization that I know. And so I'm so happy to be here and to support you all. And I want to encourage you to book clarity calls with a coach. When you have any questions, any reservations, you know, we're here to support you and help you decide whether it's the right thing for you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, well, let's get into some questions and answers now from folks who are here. So if you're thinking about joining the program, or, you know, and you just want to know more about it, this is a great chance. Now, to be clear, Grace also does provide clarity calls. Tracy just dropped the link in the Zoom chat, and we can also get it posted on the in the comment section on the broadcast page at certificate.foodrevolution.org/calls. I'll say that one more time in case you're watching on YouTube. Certificate.foodrevolution.org/calls. That's a way to get a clarity call so you can actually talk with Grace. Now, I want to be really clear. We asked Grace and also Coach Howie to take on these calls because we didn't want somebody who's going to be an aggressive sales pitch. These are not sales calls. These are calls to help you get clear about whether the program's aligned for you. And if so, get set up to make the most of it. So it really is, I mean, Grace has actually told people not to join at times when it's not a fit for them, you know, bad business move, but that's who we are, right?
Yeah.
We want to really listen for your well-being, your calling, your purpose, and help you step into that boldly and consciously. Every no is also a yes to something else. We want to help you say yes to the things that matter the most to you, that are aligned with your values and your purpose. Okay, so let's get to some of the questions here. Let's see. We heard from Lisa, who said, these 3 days have been amazing. I was so inspired yesterday that I made my decision and put down my deposit. I did receive acknowledgement about the deposit, but not specifically about the application I submitted. Can you confirm my application was received? Thank you. So excited. Lisa, yeah, our team will follow up with you to make sure that that's all in place. But email us anytime at certificate@foodrevolution.org. Again, that's certificate@foodrevolution.org if you're unsure or you just want to check on things to make sure it's moving forward. So excited that you're joining us in the program. Sonia said, love the support with the career path. This may be the link I am really missing. Yeah, thank you. You know, it's like the rubber has to meet the road somewhere, you know, and all the best ideas and the biggest hearts in the world will not be as effective if they don't also get paired with strategy. Martin Luther King said we need tough minds and tender hearts. You know, it's that combination that is so potent. And so we really want to bring that all together and help you actually achieve success in the real world, changing real lives and marketing effectively and being supported in doing so. You know, my dad, when he wrote Diet for New America, which came out in 1987 and became a runaway bestseller, he had a prayer as he was working on the book. It was, may I be compensated commensurate with the quality of the work that I do. Just let that land for a second, because he wasn't saying, I want to get rich and be a big popular author and be on TV. No, may I be compensated commensurate with the quality of the work that I do. And that's my prayer for you. You know, we want you to be able to do quality work and be compensated well, right? And that wouldn't that be right livelihood? Wouldn't that be beautiful if everybody could have that? Well, that's what we want for you. And that's why we want to give you the strategy and the structure to make the business side work too. Let's see. We heard from Ruth, who said, thank you so much for these last few days. My concern is that I'm not really eating a healthy diet myself, although it's pretty good. Does that matter? Grace, I'm sure you've gotten this question before in Clarity Calls. What do you say?
No, it does not matter. There are so many people who are transitioning into plant-based. And if you're going to move into this program, be a coach, you have even more to talk about with your clients. You have your own story of transformation, you know, and if, you know, the challenges that you're coming up with, the questions that you have. So I would say absolutely not. I think this program is great for anyone, regardless of where they are in their own plant-based journey.
I'd even go a step further and say that, you know, for a lot of people in this program, it is the personal transformation that is the most surprising. You know, they come because they want to help other people or build a business, and they leave feeling like their whole life is different. Like their health, their relationship to food, their lifestyle is now aligned with their values and their dreams. And the peer coaching, the deep learning, like it's really powerful. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I learn better when I'm thinking about how it's going to help other people. I don't know if that's a good thing about me, but like I'm highly motivated by a desire to help others, you know? And so sometimes people enter through that doorway of service or vocation, and then they suddenly realize that their whole diet has changed, you know, and their lifestyle has changed based on what they've learned. So that you may be one of those people. So I would say that if your diet's not the best, like you can absolutely be a learner and a practitioner at the same time, and just keep that circle going. And you may find that you look back in 10 years and you're feeling better and healthier and more vibrant and more congruent than you ever would have imagined. And you're helping other people have those changes too. Sonia said, do you have coaches that work in corporate wellness? I'm really interested in this area as well after having been invited to a few wellness expos and doing a few classes for corporate groups. I love being an entrepreneur, but needed some more avenues with consistent income due to family obligations. So I'm curious about this. Does the certificate qualify us to work in corporate wellness?
I can answer this one.
Great.
Yeah, corporate wellness is definitely a focused lesson with a ton of resources from someone who is out there and doing it. So, yes, there's plenty to support you if that is a dream of yours. And as a graduate from this program, you are absolutely qualified to go do that.
Yeah, beautiful. And you've done that, Tracy. I mean,
I have, yeah, on a
so I think
team.
that's a really interesting thing because not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. And
Mhm.
like, I mean, there's a lot of freedom that comes with setting your own schedule and charging what you can. And some people can, create group programs and have all kinds of efficiencies, and you can work in Bali or wherever. And but sometimes working in a larger setting gives you another kind of freedom, which is that you don't have to worry about the ebbs and flows of the marketplace. You've got a solid paycheck and you can actually just focus on coaching, like actually helping people. So, do you think that's a for people who are of that kind of mindset, like is that a valid pathway?
It absolutely is. Every pathway is a valid pathway, and that's a little bit of a, cliche to say, but I have to share that there is no wrong way or right way to do this work in the world. A lot of coaches even patch together, a bit of everything. They have part-time
Mhm.
work. They'll do contract work. They'll do, I mean, my work with in corporate wellness was with contractors. So there's a lot of different ways to taste test. And in the beginning of my career, I actually didn't really know what was going to suit me best, what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it. So I tried everything. And like that has been, I think, my superpower. And ultimately, having the experiences of like many different settings um, definitely adds to, it just all compiles basically. It all builds momentum. So yes to the corporate wellness. I think it's a brilliant avenue to pursue, and people need you more than ever with where they spend the majority of their time, and a lot of people, that's at work.
Wendy just posted, I signed up a couple months ago because it seemed so good and exactly what I was looking for, not that I entirely knew. I wasn't going to watch these 3 days, but I'm so glad I did. I'm even more convinced this course is exactly what I need. Honestly, blown away. Wendy, we're so excited. We get to start together in January. We cannot wait. I'm so happy you're on this journey with us. Um, let's see. Adrian said, as a plant-based chef and wellness retreats for the last 5 years, who is now moving into coaching, how can I offer, oops, just disappeared. How can I offer my services at the highest level? What would you say for a plant-based chef in wellness retreats who's interested in going into coaching? What's a good way that pathway is going to converge?
I'm sorry, I was paying attention to the chat for a moment.
Okay.
Plant-based
Oh, a
coach,
plant-based chef for the
chef.
last
Yeah.
5 years at wellness retreats
Oh,
who
amazing.
is wanting to become a coach or bring coaching in. What's a good pathway for maximizing their contribution?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's genius. There are definitely culinary coaches. Culinary coaching is a real thing. We have again another lesson, a couple of lesson around that in Pillar 1. And one is even about teaching kitchens, which is this partnership of applying your culinary coaching to doctors' offices, medical settings, hospitals. There are centers. Even the Mayo Clinic has one. Or was it Mayo Clinic or Cleveland Clinic? I think Cleveland has a teaching kitchen in their hospital. So yeah, it's definitely a movement, and um, we can help you get there.
One of the things I find so interesting is that wherever we've been in the past, that brings us skill sets that we can apply now, and it will accelerate us. So if you've had a past career in corporate, well then maybe you can help reach corporate communities. If you have a past career in food preparation, then blending coaching into that can help you not just feed people, but also to help them feed themselves better when they go home, right? Because now you'll be able to help them on that path. So, you know, there's so many ways that you can build on your past. So we have a lot of doctors, dietitians, nurses who enroll in plant-based coaching certificate, and they're able to bring coaching skills into their patient interactions, right? And then we have a lot of coaches who don't have those backgrounds, who then become the go-to next step for physicians, for healthcare providers who don't have the time to really sit down with people at the depth that they want to. So there are many paths forward to use who you are, your gifts, your brilliance, your background, your skills and competencies to serve. We've talked about this a little bit in the last couple of days. Some people have had a health trauma or pain or suffering, and that story becomes profound and moving to people, right? Other people, someone asked, if I haven't had a like major health problem, is that a problem? It's like, no, it's absolutely not, because then you get to come from your truth, which is maybe a foundation of more health, which is also magnetic. So the thing is that not everybody will respond to you, right? But you don't need that, you know? You just need, 50, 100, whatever the number is, 20, people that are drawn to you. So niching is really important. There's a whole bonus on how to clarify your niche that Sage Lavine put together. So you can really be yourself. Yeah, Adrian said, culinary coach. Thank you so much for your response, Tracy. This is so helpful. Okay, I think we have time for like one more question here, and then we're going to wrap up our time. So Holly said, the obstacle I come across the most is people who do not enjoy cooking or being in the kitchen. They want to make the change, but really don't like or have time to prepare healthy meals. Can you address this? And thank you for offering this course and these 3 days.
Well, from the perspective of a coach, again, it's going back to meeting people exactly where they are, and not projecting like really where you want to strong arm them to be. You have to accept the reality of their circumstances. And also, once you do that, once you do meet them where they are and you support them in shopping smarter, whether, pre-made things or even choosing from restaurants smarter, or, whatever it is that they need that immediate support, you'll be surprised when they start to wake up to shifting that mindset just a teeny little bit, how they start to become curious about next steps. So I'd say just like lean right into exactly where they are and let them create their own vision for wellness, and you'll get them there.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. All right, my friends, we are nearing the end of our powerful 3 days together. On day 1, we explored purpose, reconnecting with why this work matters and your own sense of calling and purpose in life. Day 2, we looked at the inner work, discovering that healing yourself and helping others are one journey. It's inseparable. And then today, we've looked at success your way, the different paths to service and contribution, and how you can build a practice that's grounded in integrity, aligned with your values, and ready to thrive. Over the course of these 3 days, you've heard some of the brightest minds in plant-based nutrition and coaching. You've learned practical tools that you can use, and you've met some real people, our alumni, who were once sitting perhaps right about where you are now, wondering if they could do this, and look at them now, living their purpose, transforming lives, and making real impact in the world. That didn't happen by accident. It happened because they all said yes. They invested in themselves. They stepped into training that gave them knowledge, skills, and community to make a difference. So now I want to ask you a question. What if you're next? I want to be honest with you about something. My dad, John Robbins, as you know, passed away in June, and his death cracked my heart wide open. It also deepened my resolve, because the work that he started, the work of helping people see that food is medicine and that our choices matter, that we can create a healthier and a more compassionate world, that work is now in our hands. He didn't just pass the torch to me, he passed it to us. The world, I think, is crying out for leaders who are willing to carry it forward. Right now, most Americans want to eat healthier food. Most even want to eat more plant foods, but most don't know how to do it in a sustainable way that they will enjoy. They don't know who they can actually trust in an AI-saturated, overwhelming world, and they don't have the support they need to make lasting change. And I'm going to say something. There are people out there right now who need you. Your neighbor struggling with diabetes, your friend dealing with heart disease, the parent in your community who wants their kids to grow up healthy, the colleague who's exhausted or overwhelmed or doesn't know where to start, the loved one who's suffering from cancer right now. They don't need another diet plan. They need a guide. They need a coach. They need someone who can meet them where they are and walk with them on the transformative path. That could be you. I've seen what happens when someone steps into this work. They don't just heal their clients, they heal. They don't just gain skills, they gain clarity and confidence and purpose. They don't just build a practice, they build a life that is more deeply aligned with who they really are. You heard it from Craig and Ashley and Janet and Amanda, from Chef Agat and Shalene and Beth and Amy, from every alumni who shared their story this week. The transformation is real. And it's not just possible for them, it is possible for you. I want you to imagine waking up knowing your work matters, knowing you're making a tangible difference in people's lives and getting paid to do it. Imagine having the confidence to answer tough nutrition questions, the skills to guide people through real behavior change, the business know-how to attract clients and grow a sustainable practice. Imagine being part of a community of like-minded and purpose-driven people who share your values and your vision for a better world. That is what the Plant-Based Coaching Certificate is all about. Information, yes. Credentials, yes. And also transformation for you, for your clients, for your family, for your community, for the world. And this is your moment. If these 3 days have inspired you, if you feel called to help change the way the world eats, if you want to turn your passion for health into work that matters, then now is your time to step forward. Again, enrollment is open for our 2026 cohort, but this program just happens once a year. We limit it to 300 students. Right now, there are seats available, and there's a discount available, and there are bonuses available, but the seats are filling. So to apply and lock in your spot, along with your $1,000 in savings and your $12,000, and visit certificate.food.org. That's certificate.foodrevolution.org.
You know, our students often tell us that PBCC didn't just give them skills to serve others, it gave them clarity to create a life that feels truly aligned with their values. So if you've been searching for a way to bring together your passion for health and your desire to make a difference and build a career that really matters to you, this is it. And if you're still wondering whether this is the right fit for you, please talk to us. Book a free clarity call with one of our program advisors or student ambassadors. You might even talk to Grace, and they'll walk you through all of the details, listen to your goals, and help you see how and if PBCC is the right fit for you and how it could work in your real life. We're going to put that link in the chat as well.
Here's what I know. The world doesn't need perfect people. It needs willing people. People who are willing to show up with open hearts, who are willing to do their inner work, who want to serve something bigger than themselves. I think that's you. You wouldn't have spent 3 days with us if you weren't feeling a call. So trust that and honor it and follow it wherever it takes you. Over these 3 days, we've explored the spark that starts change, the skills that make transformation possible, and the pathways to success on your terms. Now it's up to you to decide how you want to carry this forward. You can take what you've learned and use it in your own life, and that's awesome, and I hope you will. You can also go deeper and join us if you want to. You can become part of a community that's creating real and lasting change in the world, and the choice is yours. And I want you to know we're ready for you. We're ready to support you, to train you, to walk with you, to celebrate with you, to welcome you as you step into this work. So thank you all for showing up. Thank you for caring. Thank you for being a part of this movement to change lives, to care for our planet, to spread hope through the power of plants. On behalf of everyone at Food Revolution Network, Tracy, our incredible faculty, our passionate alumni, and our entire team, we cannot wait to welcome many of you into the Plant-Based Coaching Certificate family. And we want to thank all of you for joining us in these 3 days and in this movement. My friends, the world needs you. We're here to help you answer the call. Let's do this together. Thank you and have a blessed day. Food Revolution Network is a community of nearly 1 million people who are committed to healthy, ethical, sustainable food for all. We've sent 1 billion educational messages to activists and change makers in over 160 countries. Our online summits have reached more than 2 million. We've brought more than 300,000 people together for our campaigns for transparent food labeling and to get nutrition taught in medical schools. Worldwide, health and wellness is now a $1.5 trillion per year industry. Never before have so many people been fired up about enjoying a plant-based lifestyle. If you're passionate about helping other people make the transition from knowing what to do to doing what they know, you're in the right place. Join our thriving community as a Food Revolution Network certified plant-based coach. Together, we will help to change the way the world eats. You're going to learn about the fundamentals of plant-based nutrition.
Vegetables, fruits, legumes, calcium and iron, macronutrients, phytonutrients, controversies, and my greatest tips for how to make plant-based eating irresistible.
You'll find out about the art of strategic coaching to fuel behavior change.
A great coach does more than just tell people what to do.
How do you encourage intrinsic motivation?
Coaching is about meeting people where they are, co-creating a personalized plan for success.
And we'll look at proven strategies for making an impact. We want to help you not just make a difference doing good, but also to make a good living.
If you can develop a practice that consistently helps people on a path to health and wellness, you can change their life in an utterly profound way.
So if you want to get real skills in nutrition, coaching, and impact that you could apply in your own life, join us at Food Revolution Network's Plant-Based Coaching Certificate.